Welcome to the April 1, 2026 School Committee meeting. District Vision and Core Values. District Vision: the Barnstable Public Schools educates the whole child by creating a student-centered school culture that addresses students' physical, social, emotional, and academic needs by creating a safe and healthy learning environment in which students are challenged, supported, and engaged. Core values. In Barnstable Public Schools, we value commitment, collaboration, and community. Commitment. We are dedicated to the continuous learning for all. Collaboration. We work together while keeping student needs at the center of all decision-making. Community. We build strong, respectful partnerships that support student success. Item 1.2, statement by the chair, video or audio recording of meeting. This Barnstable School Committee meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. Okay. Item 1.3, Pledge of Allegiance, led by the Centerville Elementary School's student envoys.
Of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Item 1.4, student envoy report from the Centerville Elementary students. Mrs. White, I didn't get their names, so I'm wondering if they could make sure they introduce themselves so I know who's who.
That is a part.
Thank you.
And Noah, you guys are first. Come right on up here. The microphone's on. So at Centerville Elementary School, I'm sorry, I forget. I'm not used to this. At Centerville Elementary School, we've been working on the Centerville Elementary School Vision of a Graduate for a couple of years. It's still in a draft form, but today we've brought some third graders who are going to be graduates of Centerville Elementary School. They are donning their caps. This group of third graders is very special. This is the group that started with me in my leadership as kindergartners. So this is my first graduating class that have been with me, most of them for all 4 years. So they're going to share 3 different parts of what we're working on with our vision. So we're going to start off with Noah and Emily, and they'll introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I am going to be a Centerville graduate.
Hi, I'm Noah. I'm going to be a Centerville graduate too.
We are all proud Centerville students who would like to teach you a little bit about some of the important things we have learned at Centerville.
We are going to tell you what it means to feel like you belong. Centerville is a school where everyone belongs.
A sense of belonging is a strong feeling and acceptance and value. At school, sometimes we get to meet in small groups with Mr. G or Mrs. Morin and Star. In our sense of belonging groups, we learned that there are many types of friendships. Sometimes friendships change, and sometimes friendships can be hard. However, everyone is deserving of kindness and respect.
Our sense of belonging group, we learned about the importance of connection. Sometimes we feel alone, like no one understands how we feel. Connections help us feel safe and seen. It's important to accept others as they are because everyone should feel like they belong.
Next, we have Sophia and Braden. Come on up. And our friend Braden wasn't feeling well today, and we didn't expect him to be here. So we're very happy he's here, and we're going to get him his cap tomorrow. Come on over, buddy. Sit right here. Go ahead and start.
I'm Sophia, and I'm going to be a Centerville graduate.
I'm Braden. I'm going to be a Centerville graduate.
At Centerville Elementary, we have become experts at being respectful and responsible kids. Our school mascot is a bee, and every month we celebrate and practice a new bee skill. We practice in our classrooms, in the hallways, outside, and then have a celebration with the whole school. We dance to music and cheer on our classmates who win a trip to the book vending machine. We are going to tell you about a few bee skills.
One of our B skills
is kindness.
it's kindness.
Kindness is the act
Kindness is the act
of showing compassion,
of showing compassion, care,
and consideration.
and conversation.
When you are kind,
When you are kind,
you spread joy
you spread joy
and help others.
and help brothers. I am kind.
Another B skill is to be brave. Brave means having the courage to try something new. Brave is pushing yourself to do something hard or different. You may even feel a little nervous. Brave people make good choices. They stand up for others, they help themselves, and the people around them grow. I am brave.
Hi, I'm Adette, and I'm going to be a Centerville graduate.
Hi, I'm Manasseh, and I'm going to be a Centerville graduate.
Our third grade classes are going on a quest to discover the best characteristics that make us who we are. We will be doing art projects, science investigations, musical exploration, and even movement to help us celebrate our amazing and unique selves.
We all read the book The Reflection in Me by Peter Reynolds. This book will be our guide in discovering who we are as unique kids.
We would like to leave you with some words from the book that inspire us. Your kindness is as beautiful as a rainbow.
At the end of this story, the reflection in the mirror said to me, "You are perfectly perfect." The message of the story for everyone is you may always see yourself as you truly are, perfectly perfect. Thank you for taking the time to meet us and hear about our amazing journey as Centerville student.
Terrific job, everybody. Any questions or comments?
Just a huge congratulations for the upcoming graduation at Centerville. It's amazing. You guys have done a great job for 4 years. It's always awesome for us to hear what's being taught in the elementary schools, and then we can make sure that all those things are going on straight through grade 12 and hopefully beyond. I know a lot of adults that have missed out on that lesson, but it's always nice to hear you guys so inspired and that you're such good friends to each other.
Anybody? Andre?
Thank you, Chair. It's good to hear that our third grade students are focusing on the attribute of bravery as they move forward towards graduation from Centerville Elementary. The third grade students that I work with certainly displayed courage and bravery over the last couple days. I teach in New Bedford because our students were going through MCAS these last 2 days and working hard and dealing with those challenges and showing resilience to put their best foot forward, right? Because we're concerned about progress over perfection. Sometimes we get caught in the perfection, but I'm glad. Respect, I heard responsibility is what we're focusing on. Small world that it is. The school that I'm at, elementary, respect, responsibility, and safety are our core values as well, and just ingraining those makes a tremendous difference. So great job. You're looking very sharp here with those caps. It's very sharp in preparation for your third grade graduation. It's good to see, and keep up the good work.
Anybody else? Mike?
I just want to say excellent job. As I always say, when kids come up, when adults come up, they usually are all nervous and stuff, and it always amazes me when kids come up, they're so calm. When they, at least they show they're calm. They look like they're calm at least. But excellent job. It's always hard when you come up in the front of a room of people and start talking, and you all did a fantastic job. So, and congratulations on your soon-to-be graduation from third grade.
Courtney?
Yes, congratulations, and I would just echo that it's very scary speaking in this room, and you all did it so wonderfully, so great job there. You look very sharp in your caps, and congratulations on graduating. Hopefully you get to do something fun to celebrate.
Parties everywhere. Perfectly perfect is the phrase I like. Everybody is perfectly perfect. And your drawings are beautiful. I'm going to hold those back up again. Those look awesome. You did a terrific job, and keep working hard. Thank you. Does picture? Oh, yes,
Yeah, thank
these
you.
are awesome.
So who did these? Who did everybody kind of do them, or you all did it? Well, before the meeting was actually, the meeting was, we were waiting for the meeting to start. I completed mine, so I did it. I was a little lost at the beginning, but I kind of came around at the end, and I kept trying, and I got there. You know, things don't always come easy, so I kind of kept working at it, and I figured it out. So excellent. Thank you for those.
Yeah, thank you. You want to get a picture up front?
Do you guys want to come up and you're going to stand in front of the seal and you can have your picture taken? You can bring your posters up. Good job, buddy. Social media, great. Thank you. Of course. No, you look super comfortable.
Okay. All right, highlight in education. Yeah. Wait for Kim. All right. Ready? Ready? Okay. No, they did great. It's a hard act to follow. All right, item 2.2, Superintendent's Academic Excellence Award recipients.
Thank you. So I'm pleased to share the Superintendent's Academic Excellence Award recipients for this year. So graduates of a different kind exiting our high school as they are seniors. The Superintendent's Association allows us as superintendents to recognize outstanding academic achievement among our graduates. Due to the size of Barnstable High School, I get to choose two of our graduates based on their academic track record, contributions to the school community, and a personal selection. And so this year, I'd like to recognize Kyla Balestri and Lily Raposo and invite them to come forward. They are here tonight with their families. sit right there, might work well. I have a few remarks to share from them about them from their guidance counselors, but I'm sure they will fill in some missing pieces because there is a lot of great things to share. So Kyla, who is sitting to our right, is a thoughtful and compassionate young person. She has taken a total of 9 advanced placement courses, and she continuously works to improve herself in academics and across all areas. She has a weighted GPA of 4.5 out of a 4.0 scale, which ranks her in the top 5% of her class. She has completed our child development pathway, including 2 internships at local elementary schools. As a trilingual student, Kyla understands the value of being able to communicate with someone across languages. She's also a competitive dancer, finding success both as an individual as well as part of a dance team and a teacher at her dance studio. As the vice president of the student ambassadors, Kyla is always looking for ways to support new students and improve their overall experience at the high school. She's the president of the Key Club, and she is a longtime member of Community Empowerment, No Place for Hate, and the Military Support Club, and participates in fundraisers, councils, and events, all on improving conditions within our community. On top of that, she also works year-round at a local restaurant. Her pursuit of excellence, combined with her empathy, makes her unique and as what makes her an effective student teacher in both our daycare as well as a local elementary school. And I understand, Kyla, you plan to attend Fairfield University and want to be an elementary adjustment counselor, which is amazing. Also here to recognize Lily Raposo, sitting on the left-hand side there. Lily stands out as one of the most intellectually determined and profoundly motivated young women at Barnstable High School. She started her high school career at Cape Cod Tech and transferred to BHS for our AP classes, engineering opportunities, and extracurriculars. She has nearly exhausted all of our AP courses. She has an outstanding weighted GPA of 4.55 on a 4.0 scale, so that also places her among the top 5%. She has a focus which is razor sharp, including STEM and specifically engineering. AP Calculus and Physics are among her favorite courses. And my understanding is your career goal is to be an aerospace engineer. I don't know if you've picked a school.
I'm working on Air Force Academy.
Air Force Academy, amazing. She's also a proven and recognized leader. She plays clarinet, having done so since 4th grade. She's the drum major from our high school band, president of the school's chapter of the National Music Honor Society. She anchors our varsity soccer team as a center defensive player, and she has a direct involvement, hands-on engagement with the robotics club. As I understand it, you cultivate strong, positive relationships with your peers and are kind and generous. And you are, both because of your intellect and leadership, prepared to excel in college and your future engineering career. So congratulations to both of you. I'm really pleased to have made this selection, and we will be enjoying a dinner for celebration with other area districts and their award recipients in a couple of weeks at the Cape Tech High School. So congratulations.
Any comments? Comments?
Not so fast. Have a seat, ladies. You know, it's just awesome to see people grab every possible path to success. It's so exciting being on the other side of college and on the other side of master's degrees and all that stuff. It's just so exciting to see that in people your age. Still today, when I go to a college town, I get excited. I'm like, the air is different. It's electric. People are learning. People are loving it. And it's really empowering, I think, for everyone, for all your peers to see you guys excel like this. So keep up the great work. It's really awesome. Yeah.
Anyone? Andre?
Thank you, Chair. So, you know, one of the things for me, and it was all just read, what you guys have been participating in and the success that you've had. But what sticks out to me with students that have had your success is that you continue to set further goals for yourself. So I'm hearing about Fairfield University. I'm hearing about desire to go into the Air Force. But I'm also hearing about you transferred schools, Cape Tech, a brand new building, state-of-the-art facilities. You know, you're going to have the dinner there. But you saw some further opportunities here in Barnstable, and you made that decision. Because I imagine things were going well at Cape Tech. But you said, let me shift lanes because I want to further challenge myself and go for these additional opportunities. And as an educator, that's something that I kind of look for in our students that are having success. I feel that sometimes we don't give due attention. So, you know, and I don't want to pile too much on because I know sometimes when you know, but that attribute that you continued once you had success, you were not satisfied, and you set further goals for yourself. And I said, no, and then when you achieve those, I hope you set further goals for yourself, because that's really how you stay ahead of the curve. I think that's something that any student can learn from, regardless of where you are. So again, just great job. You have some further steps that you're excited to take, you know, and then when you get there, you know, you'll work hard and you'll continue to set those goals for yourself. So nice job.
Thank you. Mike?
Wow. Whenever every year this happens, I feel more and more inferior compared to what I did in high school. I'm like, wow. Excellent job. Kyler, I also would like to add to yours that you're also a heck of a driver. I'll embarrass you a little bit. I think it was more your instructor than it was, but you know what? You were always a great driver on top of it. No, excellent job. Keep it up. I mean, this is a plateau. This isn't a plateau. This is kind of a level, and then you're going to keep going. So you just kind of keep on going, keep pushing, and also take some time to kind of smell the roses sometimes, because I know we're all about push and push and push, and sometimes you got to kind of enjoy what you've accomplished already. So don't forget to kind of take a chance to take a deep breath and kind of enjoy where you're at too. It's senior year. It's going to become fun. Hopefully it's already been fun, but it's going to become more fun as kind of the year goes on. But excellent job. Keep up the good work, and thanks for coming and sharing your story with us. It's amazing.
Courtney?
Couple words that I think your counselors said that Superintendent Aherd echoed is profoundly motivated in pursuit of excellence. And I love those phrases because it sounds like it describes you both perfectly. You've got a GPA beyond the entire scale. You're in the top 5% of your class. You're choosing great goals. And like Andre said, just keep pushing those goals. You'll hit something and you're going to go, what's next? And just dream your biggest dream, because you guys are clearly able to accomplish excellence. So just dream as big as you can dream. It sounds like you did amazing by coming to the Barnstable district so that you can choose all of our opportunities and just push your hardest. And you guys are doing so good, and you're going to have such amazing, bright futures. And I hope you guys also have a really fun graduation party.
Not much to say when you go last, but congratulations on all your achievements. You certainly represented what we hope a graduate will be in Barnstable. So thank you. Coming up to get a picture? Okay.
We'll do a picture. I was going to say, my mom definitely wants a picture.
All right, item 3.1, student envoy report from Barnstable High School.
Hi. So we have a lot of exciting things that happened last month and looking forward to this month. So we have a pretty big list. Yeah, so starting out, we had spring sports started 2 weeks ago. So some sports have already started their games, and it's been going really good. And tennis, they have found courts. They're having their matches at CCA and practicing at the Four Seas courts. So that was really good. And I know I mentioned like a lot of the sports had new coaches. So far from what I've heard, that's been going really good. I know for track, we kind of had to have a complete redo the setup. We used to have boys and girls split, but now they're all together. And with the new leagues, it's definitely a big change for a lot of sports teams because they're adding in more games, which for some can be good because they're still getting to play with the Cape and Islands teams and just adding on the 2 new teams in the league. But I know for us personally, for track, we don't have any meets against the Cape and Islands anymore, so we only have 3 league meets. Which is definitely a huge change from before. But yeah, so it's really great to go to the games and see everyone, cheering everyone on. That's been really exciting.
Right. Another thing that's been, I think testing happened last week for seal of biliteracy, and just having the ability to have students be able to test for the seal of biliteracy is really important, and it's very amazing that Barnstable has that chance for students to partake in because it's not just like a seal that you get on your diploma. It's something that's going to help you in the long run. Like you can put on your resume. And so we had a lot of students testing for seal of biliteracy. I know we got back results, and more than 10 people got the seal of biliteracy in the state level as well as the global level. So very proud of that to share that.
Yeah, and that doesn't include the students that got it last year, and those who got it last year could retake it. If you just got like the global seal, you could retake it to get the state seal, which is really great. And we now have you can do it in Portuguese, Spanish, Latin, Mandarin, and French.
And Creole. And I think if you just talk to the head of the department, the language department, you can also figure out if you want to do it for like a native language as well. Yeah.
I'd like to mention that we have a new tutor at Barnstable High School who came from Georgetown. It is a Barnstable High School alumni who's been helping out specifically for students in science classes, like let's say you're taking AP Chem or AP Bio. He's there to help, and I just thought that was really cool to mention because right now he's taking a gap year, which is why he's been able to help some students at the high school, and he'll be going into pre-med. So.
And talking about our classes, NIASC is going to be coming for the school accreditation, and that's a lot of teachers are getting ready to have kids preparing their projects and stuff to show. Getting kids ready to talk about just what we have at the school, which is really exciting. I know we're showing them around, and then I'm helping present the math department, so that's really exciting and should be good for the next couple weeks.
And then I also wanted to touch on just the new curriculums that we've had implemented. I know that we started piloting at the end of last year, and from that we, specifically in the math department, from that we chose Reveal Math. And so far this year, I think the implementation has been really well. Feedback from the teachers has been that while they do, they all have like a shared resource, which is beneficial for them to like collaborate, because I know they have like monthly math councils or meetings where they can talk about the resource that they all have and how they can use it, and they kind of learn from each other and how to implement that into their lessons. So that's been very helpful because it doesn't take away like the teacher's autonomy from teaching the class, but it also has like a unified source where they can all use, and they're not using like a bunch of different sources, which I think is just very good. And then to go kind of hand in hand with that, I know that we had the DESI report card come out, and on that there were a few like testing percentages that could be concerning, but I think with stuff like implementing new curriculums like the math one as well as the health one, that's going to help our like testing scores go up, specifically for like MCAS and stuff like that.
for our student and staff of the month. So for the month of March, we are putting out the surveys, and that will be out shortly, so I'll have those results for you by next meeting. But I'm not sure if we've already mentioned to you the previous student and staff of the month winners, which for 8th grade was Amari Franklin Cooper, for 9th grade Derek Watson, for 10th grade Stephanie Orts, for 11th grade, Sophia Devlin, and for 12th grade, Sophia Murphy. And for our staff of the month, we had Elijah Langell. And then I'd also like to mention for that month that we had 76 students submit nominations for 40 different staff, and staff had nominated 37 students for that month.
And I kind of want to add to that. You would think that sending out like a survey to students, you might get difficult responses back, but I think every time we review them, every single time, there's always a genuine compliment to the teacher, and it's never something negative or something they're just like filling out the form just to say something gross.
Yeah, because we were worried at first that we might get some like hateful messages back, but everything has been really thoughtful and really like uplifting, and the teachers, we give them back to them, and they are so like, they love getting them back and just hearing what the students have to say, because it's just amazing seeing what the students don't actually say to your face, but how they like think of you and how much they appreciate all the teachers do. It's so amazing.
And then we also wanted to mention in the past 2 months, we've had the DECA State Conference, as well as the FPS Staple. Students for FPS, we had students from the BIS, 7th grade to 12th grade compete at the state level, and this past Saturday, so we'll be finding out results from that in a week, April 11th.
Yeah, the 11th.
The 11th through just like a Zoom, but students who qualify from there will go on to compete into the international level at Indiana University. And then for DECA, do you know if any students qualified?
Unfortunately, no students qualified in the competition part for internationals, but we will have some students representing us for I think they're called school-based enterprises, so kind of like the vending machine or like the school store, just like we're representing that, we'd have students for.
And also at states, we had our 2 state officers, Mila Valentine and Caroline Curley. They had their farewells, which is really sweet to see, and having 2 representatives from our school be up on stage was so amazing.
Okay. And we also, I hope you guys were there for the Mamma Mia show. It was one of the best shows I think we've ever seen. I know we were like full in tears just watching it. It was amazing. And it was a really good farewell just for, there's like 14 seniors that take part in drama club. So it's really amazing to see them go in such a beautiful play and a drama. It was amazing. So I hope you guys got a chance to see that.
And also coming up, we have the fashion show, which is always gets a lot of attendance, and it's super exciting. And we have a good amount of seniors in that too. They have their own senior line, so they have like their own inspiration for their collection, and they have their models walk out. They get to pick their songs, and it's really nice to see all the seniors doing that, and just to see everyone in the fashion program showing off the pieces that they've made. Either if they model it or have someone else model it, it's just so great to see all that they've done throughout the year, because they really can do so much.
Yeah, and I think just to highlight it's a great way to highlight the fashion pathway at Barnstable that we have. In this past month, we had an in-school field trip where students, seniors, I think specifically, were able to have actual models come into the school and model the designs that they have made. And, they got like professional photos, so they could add that to a resume and, really take it farther from that. And then also, the fashion pathway just has so many different opportunities. Like I know like one of our friends has worked with someone like out of school, like at a internship, working with an actual fashion designer who ships out to like very famous people. And to have a student here at Barnstable who has that opportunity is just really amazing to highlight.
Some of the other things we wanted to bring up is the Wendy's and Dunkin'. So I know a lot of people thought it was not going to run so smoothly, but I at least haven't noticed any major issues. I haven't heard of any major issues so far, but we have heard that and seen there's been signs posted that the Dunkin' has been kicking people out after a certain amount of time. So you are not allowed to stay there around, like, when it's after school. If you're there for more than, like, 10 or 20 minutes, they'll say that you have to go just to avoid, like, traffic in there, which is really great. And it's been very helpful in getting, like, people out and getting moving and getting the traffic out. So, yeah, that's been really beneficial.
And then I also wanted to mention that the Insight, I'm part of that, the news production class, as well as the yearbook class, will be going on a field trip at the end of the month. In May. So at the end of the month, May 1st, they'll be going to BU, Boston University, so when we go there, we kind of are able to learn stuff that can help us for next year in yearbook and in the news production class. And it's also like it's NESPA, so it's we submit our designs, our spreads, stuff like that, our writings, and we have a chance to win like an award. Just like last year, two people won the honorable mention award, as well as something in yearbook, but I was in yearbook, so I'm not sure. But yeah, so we're excited for that. That's up and coming.
So I don't know much about this, but there has been something new around the school called Flag of the Month, ran by Mr. Shea. So how it works, as I've seen, is there is a bracket set up, kind of like March Madness, but for flags. And national flags from around the world are put up on it, and students vote for each flag, and whichever flag wins the bracket wins Flag of the Month. I believe for the month of March, Bhutan won Flag of the Month, and I guess they sent them a certificate. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Shea said that they're sending the certificate to, like, the Bhutan embassy, so just to show how much Barnstable high school students appreciate their flag, keep them motivated. Also coming up for prom, we now have a new location, and prom committee has been working hard on getting everything ready, starting the decorations process and creating the theme, which is Great Gatsby. Yay. And yeah, so our new location is now Margaritaville because the conference center is bought.
It's unavailable, bought by Riverview.
Yeah, bought by Riverview. So we're unable to book with them again. So we're now at Margaritaville, which is a slightly smaller venue. So it might limit the amount of guests that people are able to bring. But it's a really nice venue, and it should be really great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Also earlier in March was the job fair at the rec, where many students went to attend. I noticed that particularly. It consisted of country clubs and some ice cream parlors hiring. So yeah. But that's always a great opportunity for the students, and lots of students from Barnstable consistently attend it every year. Also, to touch base on bathrooms, since spring sports have started, I've personally noticed in the locker rooms that they are in really bad condition. In the locker rooms particularly, there's like a hole in the wall. None of the stalls one of the stalls actually doesn't even like have a lock. Like I don't know where that went. And then for a lot of the stalls, like the locks don't even work at all. So those are in like incredibly bad condition. And then also in the locker rooms, I just wanted to say that they're always like really dusty. I don't know why. Like it's not dirt and stuff, but like the locker room floors are always super, super dusty. So yeah.
And also going on with the maintenance thing, I have been looking at the bathrooms, and multiple bathrooms are consistently always not flooded, but there's puddles in multiple of the stalls. There's one bathroom where there's just like a stream of water just going in the middle of the floor, so it's always a nice surprise. And in the bathrooms by like Building M, where the turf is and the stadium field, for track practice we go out there and we change in those bathrooms, and on many occasions they've been locked, which I understand that there's not as much faculty that can open all those bathrooms. However, it's been an ongoing issue for years now, and like coaches don't have the keys, so then we either have to like get everyone to go back inside and change and then come back out, which is such a hassle, and a hassle for our coach to be letting everybody in. And sometimes like the boys' bathroom will be unlocked, the girls' bathroom won't be, which is always an interesting thing. I'm not sure how that works, but it's always such a hassle, like wondering if the bathroom going to be open today, or are we going to have to just like change in our car or something. And in the bathrooms, there's at least 2 stalls that are always out of order. They just you can't open them, you can't get into them, which leaves 3 stalls for the entire girls track team and sometimes the cross teams to change in, which having practice start at 2:15 can get a little bit rushed, especially if they're not open. So that's definitely something that should be looked at. Also, we are coming around the season of Senior Assassin, and we have been told we are not allowed to do it at all whatsoever because of the car incident last year, which I think I speak for everyone when we say we totally understand why that has been canceled. However, every other school on Cape is allowed to do it, and I feel that, especially with SJP, they were also banned from it last year after the incident. However, this year they're allowed to do it, but they have very specific rules set in place to limit this, like any type of incident that could go wrong, which I feel like is what could happen, because for us at least, we have been looking forward to Senior Assassin for years, and to have it canceled because one person did something stupid that could have been very avoided, like I just feel like if we had very specific rules in place like the other schools do, and seeing how theirs have been working and are continue to work, I think it just says a lot about how it could be put into place.
Yeah, and we're just, we would be willing to collaborate with like you guys or people at the school, the police department, just to figure out, like, maybe look at what SGP has been doing and try to implement that at Barnstable for this to happen, and we can have a fun senior year.
And we also have been brainstorming some other ideas, like doing like a Fortnite type of game, just to do something similarly, but like have it run on campus, like on school grounds, and in one day, so that it doesn't like there's no risks of anything that could have gone wrong with normal Senior Assassin. But I know a lot of people just want to do Senior Assassin, and they kind of have their heart set on that and have been so excited for years for it to come, and it just can't anymore. So yeah.
I think that's all we have. Do you guys have any questions or comments?
Yes. First of all, thanks for keeping us up to date on what's going on in locker rooms and bathrooms, because you're the only people, you're our only window, right? So it's really important whether we hear the good news or the bad news. And I saw the superintendent taking some notes over there, because it all sounds completely unacceptable to me. And it usually does kind of sound unacceptable to me. I love the flag thing. Dante's been killing us with flags at home. I think it's that Brady, your tutor, YouTube thing. Have you seen that? It's like we do this trivia thing, and it's like we do 5 or 6 back-to-back. It's like almost an hour, but Dante always kills us on the flags. It's unbelievable. The only one I know is like Nepal, because it's weird shaped, and the others but he knows them all. He's unbelievable at it. And I think, your point is well taken about Senior Assassin. I mean, I don't appreciate it at all, but I can understand how you guys would look forward to it, and that, one incident ruins it for everybody. It seems really undemocratic and kind of harsh, especially when all the other schools are doing it. So hopefully they can look into that for you guys. But I just want to say that, as we come to a close on your school year, and you guys all move on, that, I've really appreciated how candid you are with us. And I hope you never lose that in anything in your life, because people always rave about how they want radical candor, but they really just want you to agree with them. And that's not the same thing. right? So what we need is to hear the student voice, what's really happening in the school, so that we can correct things that seem like it's like inequities, and improve things that seem unbearable, like bathrooms, and manage things that are just kind of maybe timing issues, like not unlocking bathrooms in a timely manner. So those are all really manageable things that we can handle through the superintendent. So thanks a lot for all that, thank you.
Anybody? Andre?
Thank you, Chair. Again, I want to know what's going on in real time, so I do appreciate you guys, your thoughtful kind of presentations, and you talk about the entire spectrum of what's happening, and there's quite a bit because we're a large district. Specific to Senior Assassin, I'm not as young as I used to be, but I do remember what it was to be a senior, to be a Barnstable graduate, and you want to do these things. But just for a little bit of background, Senior Assassin was mentioned last year around this time at our meetings, and then shortly thereafter we had the incident here in Barnstable. Specifically after it was spoken to, and I don't know how but the incident happened within a week or two. Okay, and then so we responded, right? And it's a game, and I understand students are playing it and so on and forth, but that's just understanding from our side of it, how it's seen. I do appreciate that you're willing to come to the table and say, this is how we can make it more safe, and I'd be receptive. That sounds, I'm on the school committee. I'm not an administrator, but bringing those ideas to the people at the high school, and maybe it goes to people in central office to kind of further the conversation, say, how can we do this safely? That seems practical. And so pursuing that, hopefully we can come, it might glean something, but just so that, in terms of Senior Assassin and everyone else is doing it, I remember this particularly because I didn't understand what the game was. And I was brought up at a meeting, and then following the local news, I saw the incident. Okay, and then that necessitated some things going forward. But, if we can work together, then maybe progress and gains can be made so that you guys can have a good senior year. But I think, again, this incident and this topic, and you guys, it's just that, you're doing it all, but there's responsibility that comes with the things that we want to do. And that's the give and pull around this time of the year. We want you to have an experience. You talked about prom, going to a different venue. I'm a Barnstable graduate, Barnstable alum. It used to be at that location before it was Margaritaville years ago. We do have that prom footage up, Barnstable High School Athletic Hall of Fame. We have Barnstable proms going back to 1988, and we get some of that stuff out to people. So it was there previously. It's a different type of location, but hopefully it can be just as great of an event. And then, of course, there'll be celebration, which I know people are working very hard on. People up at this dais for many years worked to build that program up. But so that it can be a great experience, but so it can be safe. So that's just the what. So you have ideas to make it more safe. Bring forward those ideas. Love to hear about Student and Staff of the Month. These are the type of initiatives, we want to celebrate people doing the right things all the time. So there's a little bit of reticence, right? And people will be negative, but the positive feedback is far outweighs maybe one or two Debbie Downers that might be in there. Okay, that's something that I saw, and in my slides I'll be looking at, the particular staff member, great picture right in front of the great displays that we have in the entranceway. So wonderful to hear. You're telling me about Latin, our students learning Latin with the seal of biliteracy. Creole. This is one of the languages, I work in New Bedford, so this is one of the languages that our district communications go out in. There's such a large population of people that speak Creole. Mandarin Chinese, certainly something that's going to serve those individuals quite well in this international, this globalized world that we're in. So I knew about the seal of biliteracy, and it was something that was accelerated, but I did not know about all these particular offerings within that for students to pursue these different interests and excel in a number of different ways. Again, I'm not, clearly I will talk to you because I've been talking to you, but I don't have skill in different languages, so I just have a great respect for that. And you did talk about the athletics that are going on, and we're shifting gears. To my colleague's point, I do like to hear about some of these day-to-day things. Those bathrooms, they can be open, and again, this is not to point fingers because we know that our staff are incredibly hardworking. They do a tremendous amount, but just little things, you're doing so much, and then one thing, but it becomes an issue. So that seems to be something that can be readily addressed. And then, of course, the further things to make sure those bathrooms are maintained is something that we are aware of. But glad you're talking about some of the sports that are starting up and they're going to continue to ramp up going into the spring. So great job, and that's just kind of my response. Hopefully we can partner on some of these things because we're getting to the tail end, but we're going to finish strong.
Mike?
Great report. Really, really good report. I'm going to be honest with you. You guys always do a good report, but I would say that's probably the best report you guys have ever gone because you kind of went all you kind of had a little bit of everything, right? You kind of I don't have kids at the high school anymore, so you kind of gave a really, really well-rounded, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? That was a really, I would say that's probably the best report you guys have ever given. Just because it was it was good. It was, not that your other ones aren't, but this was definitely you hit it out of the park on this one. Everything else is a triple, this is the home run. How about that? Question for, you talked about the fashion show, but you didn't give a date. Do you guys know when the date is?
May 1st.
Okay, so it's May 1st, okay.
6, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, is it in the night auditorium like it always is?
It's in the PAC.
Oh, it's in the PAC. Okay, good. Just because to get it out to the public, because I know you mentioned it, but you didn't say the date. So yeah, it's funny you talked about the track bathrooms. My daughter graduated 2 years ago and was the same problem when she was a freshman a long time before that. So it's kind of always been a problem. The boys, I had 2 sons that also did track, and sometimes it was open, sometimes it wasn't. It was kind of a crapshoot for them, but the girls was way more of a crapshoot. So, I mean, that's just, thanks for bringing it up. It's probably just an oversight by somebody. No, I'm sure it's not intentional. It's just, so maybe they'll kind of get the word and it'll just be opened from now on. But the game, Assassin, what is it? All I could think of is Senior Assassin. All I could think of is Assassin's Creed. I don't know. Sorry. Senior Assassin. So, I don't know if you guys know, I'm a retired firefighter paramedic, so I look at the world all differently than most people. And I kind of literally am split on this one, honestly, and I'm being 100% honest. It's not all what you're going to want to hear, but because the firefighter paramedic side of me says, if you ever watch anything I always talk about, I'm always about safety. The end of the school year, I'm always have a great summer, but be safe. I did it for a long time, so it's just, the way I'm absolutely obnoxious to my kids. It's just, so that side of me says it shouldn't happen anymore. Because you know what? I'm not worried about the good kids that are doing it or the kids but there were rules, there were traffic rules, and that happened. That's way bigger than, and therefore that's like I said, there were rules that were broken, laws that were broken when that happened. And but the other side of me says you had one person who really had a really, really bad lapse in judgment and ruined it for the other 350, 400, 349 kids. And that really irritates me because it's I'm one who's deal with the people that are outside the rules because there are laws and everything else that are supposed to happen, and deal with those kids. Don't let those kids do it, but let everybody else do it who's just having fun, but innocent fun. You know what I mean? So I'm very tossed. And I appreciate you guys saying maybe we can work something out because that's the adult. Let's try to come to a consensus. The problem that I see is it's not you guys that I'm worried about. You could probably give me the names of the kids that you would be worried about, right? That are going to just paint outside the box no matter what, and the rules don't apply to me. So those are the kids, but on the other hand, it shouldn't be ruined for everybody. So it's kind of that's where my kind of head is. Not that we have anything to do with this, because this is probably a superintendent and a principal, and we have nothing to do with this, but that's kind of my take on it is it's just I think they should be very strict to kids that are if you mess up and these are the rules and you mess up, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if you can, but I'd be suspend you from school. Because to me, that should be you should be hammered for, and not ruin it for everybody, but you should have things ruined because you're not following, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and what we've heard, I've kind of heard this through the grapevine, not from a direct higher up source, but we heard that if we did try and do Senior Assassin, just do it on our own, then the kids who would participate would not be able to walk at graduation. So I feel like something like that would be a good punishment for.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not worried for 99.999% of the kids. They're going to play, they're going to have fun, they're going to be innocent, it's a great time. My kids did it, I get it. But there's that 0.1 that ruins it for everybody, and that's what kind of drives me insane when I sit here or anything in life. It's like you have 0.1 that are chuckleheads, and they ruin it for everybody else, and that to me, that bothers me. Because let the 99.9% do it, and that 1% doesn't walk at graduation. Oh, well, your consequences have action, right? So there's consequences to every action. So there you go. But I hope maybe it can be worked out. Who knows? But yeah, it kind of stinks. Yeah. Thank you.
Courtney?
Yes, so many notes. You guys, as Jen put it, you are, as we get to the wrap, and I only had you for half the year, you guys are just so amazing. You should be the advertisement for what Barnstable School District is. The fact that you guys come out here, you speak so professionally. Like Jen said, you speak honestly, you tell us what's going on, but at no point did I ever feel like you were critical. You're like, hey, here are some of the things. And like we said, it's probably not intentional. Yeah, I don't love that it's girls' bathrooms versus boys, but it's probably some oversight that just us knowing about it makes it so much more fixable. So thank you for all your help this year. You guys are going to have such bright futures. I hope you come back as an alum to tutor as well, and we get to hear from you again. Oh my goodness, so many good things. Fashion show sounds amazing. BU field trip, if any of you guys are going on it, take a stroll down Bay State Avenue. It's gorgeous. I'm an alum of BU, so I'm a little biased. Oh, really? Go Terriers. Woo! Flag of the month, amazing. It's so wonderful, the initiative that your teachers are taking, because they don't have to do this. And this is actually, Kathy's sister-in-law was my math teacher, and she did a March Madness homework project, and I'm sure it was a whole lot of work for her. That it's a lot of initiative, and it says a lot about you guys and the school district that the teachers want to spend all this time evaluating flags. Like, that's so cool. And like you said, it was demonstrated in the initiative or in the surveys that students, they might not say it to your face, but they really for any teachers listening, they really, really appreciate it. I know it's long, hard work. We're both going back to the office tonight for another long grading session that it's tough, but the students really appreciate you. Job fair is wonderful. I participate in it as well. Bathrooms, again, thank you for letting us know. All right, Senior Assassin. So I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but I was the head coach at JP2 for the tennis team. Those girls did Senior Assassin, and it was so much fun. Watching them show up in their little swimmies, the floaties, and like, granted, I'm not a teacher there, so I could get into it. We were hiding the girls. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. I didn't hear about this incident. I wasn't on the school board last year, obviously. I gave it a quick Google. That's not enough to really look into it, but I do think you guys are very mature for coming to the table, and you're like, how can we have rules? And like Mike said, safety issue. If someone's driving and makes an accident, breaks a law, that's obviously not good. We don't want, when I gave a quick Google, they had worse stories in other places. So we obviously don't want anyone to have a tragic end to graduation, but I do think there's a way to do this, and it's such a fun program. And if you need any type of proponent, I'm on your side. I mean, there's definitely some strict boundaries to fall into, but it's such a fun game. And you guys have all worked so hard, and if there is a way to do it that 99% of you, no one has any harm, that there, I'm sure there's some limits, so we make sure no one's driving, and what is it, a squirt gun you have to shoot? Yeah, that no one's doing anything too dangerous, but it's such a fun game, and it's just, there's not a lot of things in this world that are just wholesome and fun, and if there's a way for you guys to participate in it, we would love to make sure as long as we're safe. Wholesome, nothing dangerous, wholesome. So good luck, and if I can be of any help, let me know. But if I don't see you guys have a wonderful, wonderful graduation, I hope you guys have the best graduation parties, and good luck.
Thank you.
We still have one more meeting with the three of them, and then one of you are returning, right? Leah. Yeah, so we'll see you again. Yeah, I'll start off with Senior Assassin, and the only thing I can say is what a cruel twist of fate it is that the frontal lobe is the last part of the brain to develop, because that's where it unfortunately, is the part where decision-making and risk-taking is involved, and that's really what it boils down to. And everybody's brain develops at a different rate. So if you take a slow developer coupled with the lack of frontal lobe development, that is the recipe for disaster. The one thing that I don't have too much more to say, we've gone on and held you hostage, but I didn't realize that you were giving the nominations to the teachers when they were finished. Did the teachers do the students who are nominated get to see their nominations, I'm wondering? That would be great if they could, because
We haven't really worked on that. We give them like a certificate, those
Oh,
who got
everybody who's
nominated, but they don't
nominated.
always receive like what they got nominated
Yeah.
for. But we are working on implementing
Yeah,
that
that's
in
nice.
future trials.
Yeah, it's still like a work in progress. So each time we're like kind of fixing it, like getting it,
Yeah,
improving it
adding
more and more
more.
each time. Yeah.
Right. And I'll tell you, because sometimes, you know, it's hard to see as a teacher. Courtney and I are teachers, you know, and we see it. And it's hard to see the results of the efforts. And I always joke and say, I don't win anything from a current teacher or a kudo or a thank you typically, but 20 years later I'll get them, because we're always looking more towards the future and the long game. And it's hard to look at the long game when you're in the short game. But it was nice to hear that, because I think it's just nice that it's giving time for students to stop and think about what teachers do. And I also, on the flip side, think it's great for the teachers to stop and think who's making an impact amongst their peers. So I think it's a two-way street, and it's great. Thank you again for everything. I hope I can make the fashion show. I did go to see the play, and I'll talk about that later, so I agree with you. But lots of fun things happening at the end of the school year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thank you. Bye. See you guys next month.
Public comment. Public comment at a Barnstable School Committee meeting is limited to Town of Barnstable residents and taxpayers and Barnstable Public Schools employees, students, or family members. Speakers will be allowed up to 3 minutes to present their material and must begin their comments by stating their name and city or town. An extension of the speaker's time may be granted at the discretion of the chair. There will be no debate or action taken on public comment items. The committee will take items under advisement, or the individual will request an item to be placed on a future agenda. The chair will also allow public comment at her discretion during the meeting. Topics for comment should be limited to those items within the school committee's scope of authority. Is anybody here for public comment? Seeing no one, public comment is now closed. Item 3.3, School Committee, Subcommittee, and Liaison Reports. Facilities Committee, did they meet?
Thank you, Chair. Our next meeting is forthcoming. Sarah, did you have the date for the next facilities? Thank you so much, Jen. We'll have our next meeting on April 13th. Again, we are looking at our fields, making sure that they're available to our community members, and also the fee schedule, making sure that our fees are affordable for our community members. Thank you.
All right, and the Policy Committee did not meet. Cape Cod Collaborative Board, Andre?
Thank you, Chair. And we had a meeting on the 18th. It's been a busy month. But again, I'll report out. The collaborative met on the 11th of March, looked at professional development, looked at strategic planning, also looked at the legislative breakfast with our local representatives.
Wellness Committee, Mike?
We did not meet.
CPPI Leadership Team.
I'm going to kick that over to you just because I didn't go to that meeting.
So I attended in place. Mike was tied up, so I attended the March 20th meeting, so I can report on that. The First of all, the CPPI stands for Commonwealth Preschool Partnership Initiative, and it's a grant that funds partnerships between the school district and community-based early education programs for the 3- and 4-year-olds so that they can have equitable access and be kindergarten ready, regardless of where they attended. The meeting that I attended was still working to implement their needs assessment strategic plan and determine where the remaining funding should go based on their framework. They are making their decisions around 6 goals that deal with increasing the number of children served and improving alignment with family needs, increasing the availability of full-day, year-round care options for working families, strengthening a mixed delivery system that would include the public schools, center-based programs, and family child care, improving affordability for families who are not eligible for other subsidies, supporting inclusive practices and access to special education services across settings, and building system-wide quality through shared professional development, coaching, and collaboration. So the gist of the meeting was trying to explore expanding the Barnstable Public Schools program to a 6-hour model and determining, again, how expansion funds should be distributed across the whole system, not just the school system, but the community-wide system. And decisions weren't made at that meeting.
I'll jump in there to do the next meeting.
Sure. And then, but they were trying, trying to set the priorities and trying to come to some tough decisions.
Yeah, so it kind of came down to we had a whole, this entire process, which I've been on since the beginning of the year, more or less, is about looking, we only get a certain amount of money and there's a lot of need, so where is the money best spent? And there's 12 folks on this I guess I'll call it a board, a leadership team. So we had one more meeting, actually. We actually had it last week, maybe a couple. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if it was before last meeting or since. But we came to decisions on where we were going to spend the money, and it's a whole host of things that we decided on. I'll be honest with you, I don't have the exact list of what ended up going forward. We had been talking about it like I said, the conversation, this board is more about what we do is really only talk about where the money should be spent, because it's all based on the grant. So we every meeting is about where we should spend the money and where it should go. So we've been having meetings all year long, and we had our final, I don't know if it's final meeting, I'm not sure, but we decided where the grant money is going to go for next year as of our last meeting. So if anybody wants to know where the money is going, it's going to public and it's going to private. Just some of the examples that I can remember off the top of my head. They were going to add an occupational therapist, physical therapist, and a speech therapist, and it was going to be going out into the private preschools to help kids out in the private preschools. That was just one of the things that it was going for. It was going to help enrollment, make it cheaper for kids to go to the preschools. That was another thing that was talked about. There was all things. It was also talking about transportation, making transportation cheaper, making more summer programs. I don't know if these are all, I don't remember what exactly passed, but what was actually the final go forward with, but that was kind of a bunch of the different things. Opening more seats up. That's kind of where we ended up going. So it was a tough decision because there's only so much money, and everybody kept saying we would love to have everything, but unfortunately that's not reality. So that's kind of what the last meeting was about.
Moving forward, thanks, Mike.
Yep.
We are at item 3.4, school committee comments. You're good, Andre?
Chair, I have some slides to present. Would you rather I present them now or after everyone has had the opportunity to speak?
I have nothing to say, so I'm all set.
Okay, the only thing that I'm going to say is that I did attend Mamma Mia, and it was great. It's not, attending a Barnstable Public School event, drama production, isn't just watching the play, but did you go at the end? It's the audience involvement. Oh, really? It was just crazy where after they take their bows, they have a finale, and they sang 2 songs and it got everybody up dancing. And I don't sing because I can't sing, but people were singing. So you leave there very uplifted, and it was a great way. I had a long week, and it was just made Friday night so nice having gone there. The other thing that I would like to mention is I happened to sit next to a staff member sat next to me, and I got up at intermission and went to use the bathrooms, and when I came back, I was asked, how were they? They care, they do care about, yeah. And so it was kind of interesting to me because I wasn't even thinking along the lines. I was just going out to take a break and a walk, and it's always on their minds, even though the funding's limited and everything goes at a snail's pace because of bid process and the rest. So I think everybody does care, and it's obvious, even after hours. It was obvious. So that's it for me.
Kathy, can I actually just mention something? I kind of forgot. Anybody who's ever watched this knows how important BHS Celebration is. BHS Celebration, if you don't know what it is, Celebration is the after prom party. It usually goes from about midnight till about 5 in the morning on the night of prom. Kids go to prom, and then they come back to the high school. And from the field house all the way down to the main calf is a whole lot of stuff. It's really expensive. I haven't been as involved in the last couple of years, but it was running somewhere around $40,000 or $50,000 for one night because you got to be able to entertain kids in order for them to stay safe. As I said before, I'm a retired firefighter paramedic. Unfortunately, I've been involved in, not down here, but involved in tragedies of either prom or graduation or right in that time, and it just completely destroys the town. So this year, they are looking for donations. They're also looking for volunteers. It's really huge. Like I said, it's a lot of money, and you need a ton of, this is one of those, you need a community to do this one. So I actually just brought it up. If you're on Facebook, it's BHS Celebration 2026. They have, if you go on there, you can also Gmail them at bhscelebration@gmail.com. They have meetings once a month. If you go on the Facebook, I know not everybody's on social media, but on there they have sign-up genies for volunteers, for how to donate, for overnight volunteers, all different things. April 11th, they have 2026 all day at, save the date, it is
Can you say the Facebook page one more time?
yeah, sure. It's BHS Celebration 2026. They had Panera's is doing a fundraiser on April 11th at the Iano all day. They're getting 20% of all the proceeds. That's coming up. Just please, they really need help. They need a ton of help. My wife ran it for years, and I can't tell you how much stress it is at this point of the year because not everything has come together, and it's like, oh God, we've got to not do it this year. So really, we need the community to step up and help. So BHS Celebration, and thank you. Please help. Keeps the kids safe.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Mo, if you could just hold for 1 second. Mo, if you could just hold off. I had some comments that I wanted to make. That was my question. I wanted to see if you wanted me to deliver my slides first, or I had some comments to make. I wanted to, everyone has, this is the first go round, and then we do have the opportunity to speak a second time, and that's why I'll deliver my slides. But in terms of my school committee comments for this month, I just wanted to start off with some of the protocols and best practices of effective school committees. It's our responsibility to set the tone for the entire district. We will make every effort to promote a positive image of the school system. We will be visible in the community, and we will operate transparently, respectfully. We'll maintain confidentiality, and we will respect open meeting laws. These are the guidelines for us as school committee members so that we're all on the same page. It was discussed at the last meeting, the shelter on West Main Street. There was a discussion at our last meeting. It was brought up that we would have an agenda item at this meeting relative to that particular topic involving the school attorney, so that the community is aware. I just stated, transparency is central to our responsibility as a school committee. So I want it to be transparent what's taking place. The school committee was informed, and now I'm informing the community, that our school attorney could not be present at this meeting, and therefore that agenda item did not take place. So that we're clear. I was not informed as to why our attorney could not be here. He's our attorney. Previously, we've had an in-house attorney that's here to help us during the meetings and then for individual school committee members to confer with. That was changed. I was not in favor of the change because of situations like this. I need feedback as a school committee member relative to a number of topics, but specifically the shelter on West Main Street, okay? And I have not had the opportunity to speak with our school attorney to date. And I think that that's not the best possible way that we conduct ourselves as a school committee. I think that on a number of issues, we need to have access to our legal counsel. But specifically, community members have reached out. That's why the agenda item is not on, because our school attorney is not here, and I've given you some background in terms of that adventure, that reality, and really how we should be doing better. Along with this, our school attorney did provide a letter specifically to the school committee with certain confidentiality. Therefore, I can't go into any detail about what our attorney told us. But relative to transparency, so that we're all on the same page, that's where this stands. So people know. Many community members, a handful, have reached out to me about where's the agenda item? It was supposed to be there. Why is it not here? I'm telling you what I know in terms of why it's not on our agenda, so we're clear. But again, and this reflects some of our practices in terms of how we're dealing in terms of the school committee. I have some questions, and I need some feedback. So we're clear, our attorney has provided something for us, but I cannot speak to you because it's confidential. What I can speak to you about is the townspeople who have consistently been reaching out to me about the proposed shelter on West Main Street with their questions, comments, and most notably, their concerns. I read this at the last meeting. I'm going to read it again. In terms of the current...
Point of order. If this is concerning details about the shelter, it's not on our agenda, and we should not be having discussions about something that's not on the agenda because it's a violation of open meeting law.
Point of information. Chair, do committee members within their school committee comments have the First Amendment right to talk about concerns that they have and what's been brought up to them by the community? Do committee members have the right in their school committee comments to discuss concerns that have been brought up by the community and how they feel? Do I have First Amendment rights during my school committee comments to talk about issues that the community has brought to me and that I have? Do I have that right?
So since you asked that same question just 4 times, you have the right. I just am making sure that you understand that you're walking a fine line between opening a discussion. You can talk as long as you want about what you want, but I'm just saying there'll be no discourse because we don't have that on the agenda. and it could be an open meeting violation. And so if that happens, that's on your shoulders.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I take that responsibility on my shoulders. As committee members, we speak for ourselves, so that we're clear. I have the right to speak for Andre King, school committee member, individually. Only the chair has the right to speak for the entire organization. But so that we're clear, Andre King, school committee member, elected by the people of Barnstable, can speak for Andre King. I will continue. I am not, in this matter, of the mindset of wait and see. I want to be proactive. That's why I ran for this seat, to make Barnstable public schools better. I would like to have these questions that I have specific to safety. Before we had that point of order, again, I mentioned this at our last meeting. This is what community members have made me aware of. In the last 2 years, at the current location for the proposed shelter, these are calls for disturbance by the Barnstable Police Department. 227 medical emergencies. There's been 14 disturbances. There's been 14 disturbances for a intoxicated person. On and on and on. Over 300 calls for the Barnstable Police at the current shelter. So again, relative to safety, Hyannis West, less than a mile. Barnstable High School, less than a mile. Barnstable Intermediate School, which many students go through the high school to get to the intermediate school, less than a mile. And being a community partner, okay, Sturgis West, less than a mile. I have concerns about safety relative to this shelter. It was brought up 2 weeks ago. I want to have a or to move forward. I'm tired of the conjecture, whether it be HAC, whether it be town council. I'm for having a conversation and getting some of these questions answered, and not trying to move away from it or whatever the case may be. I thought that it would be a fruitful conversation to have our school attorney here providing legal precedent here at this meeting. I thought that would have been helpful. And if that was not the case, I personally do not understand why the legal counsel that he provided to us as a committee is not available to the community. I don't understand it, and I haven't been given a rationale as to why that is the case. I'll conclude on this topic. Again, each committee member has the right to speak once, and then we can speak again, so I do have some comments. But I want to just to kind of summarize this, that we received the understanding that it wasn't going to be on the agenda, and then we received some other communication about what we could say and could not say. And some of that you just saw here play out in public. Okay, but there was communication that was received of the matter that we as committee members can't speak to this issue, and that makes no sense to me. I am your representative. You elected me to be your voice. And numerous committee members have reached out on this issue, and so I will continue to speak to this issue and to those concerns of the community members are satisfied. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to talk.
You ready for your presentation?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'll deliver my slides now. Thank you. And so as we like to say, Barnstable is a large district. It's a diverse district, and it is a dynamic district. And every month there are so many things to be speaking about, so many positive things. Mar Ambrose from Read Happy visited Hyannis West first grade classes recently. She read about dinosaurs aloud to each class and brought a gift for each student, which included newly sewn pillowcases and some dinosaur books and literacy resources for family. Thank you to Read Happy organization for supporting knowledge, learning, and the history of Earth and dinosaurs. Staying at Hyannis West Elementary, Reading Palooza took place. Students enjoyed the bi-weekly Reading Palooza, where they could choose brand new books generously provided by the Rotary Club of Hyannis. The day was made more special by a fantastic lineup of guest speakers, including Barnstable High School's Interact Club, Officer Morrison, Erica So Hades of Belonging Books, Tara Vargas Wallace of Amplify POC, Dennis Miller of Rotary, Karen Crocker, a retired educator from Hyannis West, and Kim Brown, a Hyannis West teacher. Thank you to our community partners, just go back one slide, and readers for helping foster a love of reading for our students at Hyannis West Elementary. We're going to move over to Centerville Elementary, where we saw some of our students. Erica Tarantel from WCVB Channel 5, Boston, visits Centerville Elementary to film a 5 for Good segment featuring Star, who was recently introduced. This is the support dog with her trainer from Needs World-Class Service Dog. Several students had the chance to be on camera and to share about their love of Star, and Ms. Morin spoke about the important role that Star plays supporting students and staff each day. Great job at the Centerville Elementary. We're going to move over to Barnstable Community Innovation School, where the talent show featured incredible student performances, from singing to violin to gymnastics to hoverboard skills. It was a fun night celebrating the talents and confidence of our BCIS students. This was the first annual talent show for BCIS at the Knight Auditorium, and I'm told it was packed and a great overall event. We're going to move over to Barnstable United School now, where they welcome renowned storyteller Lee Cabral to regale students with poetry, interactive stories meant to inspire and spur imagination. The presentation was part of the school's 5th poetry study, focusing on rhythm, imagery, voice, and expression, helping students experience poetry as a living, breathing art. For 4 decades, Cabral has visited schools and communities throughout the world and incorporates his Cape Verdean ancestry into the exuberant retelling of African, Cape Verdean, and Caribbean folk tales, as well as original stories and tales. It was his 2nd visit to Barnstable this week, and he did an appearance at Hyannis West Elementary. We're going to stay at Hyannis West Elementary, where 14 public school educators were granted mini grants by Cape Cod 5, exploring STEM, releasing turtles, and even publishing books. Thank you so much to Cape Cod 5, who was giving away over $1 million to area schools, and 14 educators here in Barnstable were recipients of those grant monies. Thank you. Moving over to Barnstable Intermediate School, where the Shine Junior Southeast District Festival took place. The Barnstable students represented BIS at the Junior Southeast District Music Festival at Sharon High School, our first time sending singers in years. After months of preparation, Lala Toledo, Tristan Alper, and eighth grader Shelby Thompson shined, and both Leela and Shelby earned soprano feature solos in the final performance. An incredible weekend celebrating dedication, talent, and the arts. Great job, our intermediate school students. We're staying at Barnstable Intermediate School, where the students had an incredible experience. Instructor Brianna Watson praised the group. This is, I lost my place. This is a musical performance, I apologize, for our Barnstable Intermediate School students. Okay, we're going to move over to the high school. Sorry, I lost my place there. Where students had an incredible experience representing our science and engineering program at the Marine Biological Laboratory this week. Instructor Brianna Watson praised the group for their strong background knowledge, thoughtful questions, and active participation, one of the best prepared groups yet. From interjecting embryos for gene editing to using a confocal microscope to create 3D images, the students truly experience science in action. Again, this is the Barnstable High School spending time at the Marine Biological Laboratory. Again, at Barnstable High School, history lives in the hallways. The creativity at BHS was on a whole new level for this year's Black History Month door contest. Our students didn't just decorate, they educated, they inspired, and honored the legacy of Black excellence. A huge shout out to every student and teacher who participated. You turned our school into a living museum for everybody to see and appreciate. This has been going on for years, and it's just tremendous, the door competition. Congratulations to Barnstable High School student Clara Nunes, who competed in the Poetry Out Loud Massachusetts State Finals recently at the historic Old South Meeting House. Clara was one of only 12 finalists in Massachusetts and represented our school beautifully with poem selection. She was also featured in a preview interview with WBZ TV ahead of the event. We are incredibly proud of her outstanding performance. Great job. I'm loving the history. This is, again, at Barnstable High School, many great things. The Hope Squad club members recently met with Emma Benoit. A powerful story of hope and resilience inspired students and reinforced the importance of supporting one another and prioritizing your mental health. Great job to the Hope Squad. Our student... our high school students spoke about this. This is the Barnstable High School Student and Staff of the Month. This is for February, but the Student Council launched this new program for this school year, celebrate outstanding members of our community and staff nominees. So far this year, 136 staff members and 105 students have been recognized through nominations, and our students spoke about this, but great job. These are our students of the month. Our very own superintendent, Dr. Sarah Ahern, recently presented to the Osterville Men's Club at the Hyannis Yacht Club as Speaker of the Month. She shared updates on enrollment, facilities, curriculum, and the many positive initiatives taking place in the district. Again, I'm sure there is a number of alumni in that organization, and so wonderful that our superintendent was the Speaker of the Month for the Osterville Men's Club. I want to recognize School Resource Officer Brian Morrison, who was recently given an award at the state level for his many contributions. Brian has a number of roles in the district that you kind of wonder where he finds the time, but he does. He has helped out at the United School. He is the community police officer at HYCC, known to so many different community members. That State Senator Julian Sear, that State Representative Kippy Diggs, and that State Representative Steven Ziaros here to present Brian with this state award, and just super proud of all he does. Soon to be retiring, so we're gonna. But I'm sure he's gonna find ways to be active and to still support the community. Encore Night 2026 was a success. Contemporary ensemble bands, alumni musicians, and music production students delivered incredible performances with Funktopus, whose lead singer or whose manager graduated with me and whose kids have come through the district, closing out the show before a traditional full group encore. Thank you to everyone who came out to support this annual Battle of the Bands fundraiser, helping provide students with music production, software, instruments, and learning opportunities. This was the encore show at Barnstable High School, and I love the fact that we're leaning in to those alumni connections. That there is Latez, lead singer for Funktopus, and they just do a tremendous job. Last week, 65 performing arts students from the Barnstable Drama Club and theater classes traveled to Providence, Rhode Island to see a national tour of Wicked, the musical. After the show, 5 of the cast members came out for a talk with students. An absolutely amazing day. This is our Barnstable High School drama show, and you see the people in Providence were quite welcoming. It can't be overstated what the Mamma Mia production was. I got a chance to go. I know a number of, and you might hear this from other staff members. I got a chance to go on the final night of the production. Absolutely packed house, and You know, I've seen a number of productions. This was a professional level production. It reminds me the tradition that John Sullivan established years ago when I was in school, and our current coach, Miss Barth, who was a part of that and carrying on this tradition. I just can't, the choreography, the singing, the dancing, and I think what's understated and what struck me, you did see, we have over a dozen seniors. You saw some tears of joy towards the end of this production, okay, while they were going through their last act, okay, in terms of what this program has meant to them, right? So to me, I think we're seeing the future drama coaches of Barnstable High School right here because of what this production and the program itself means to them. But Mamma Mia, it was just a tour de force, absolutely outstanding, and everyone that was there, and even if you weren't there just to see it, it was amazing. I'm coming to the end, I know, but today is Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. April Fool's Day and Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. Thank you so much to our paraprofessionals. It's today, and you deserve to be recognized. Just a couple updates in the community. Improve your boating skills. Boat America courses are available. This is done by the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. And, of course, we are the lone JRRTC Coast Guard program in the state and in the region. It dovetails there. Support the class of 2027. They're having an egg delivery on the 4th with Easter coming up, but please be sure to go ahead and support them. And in conclusion, I just want to recognize, we talked about our student athletes. These are our winter student athletes. 2 Cape Cod All-Stars. The game was played over at HYCC, where our basketball team won their home playoff game before moving on. And they're extra, please read all about it. These were Cape and Islands All-Stars. They were All-Stars in the Pioneer Athletic Conference. That's the new conference with Barnstable, Bridgewater, Raynham, and Dartmouth. But they're recognized as Cape and Islands All-Stars. 4 representatives from the girls' team that did a tremendous job. And this program is being built up tremendously. Also want to recognize our hockey team, which had a number of All-Stars, earned 2 home games that they were able to play in during the snow that we had. But a number of All-Stars, a number of seniors that are graduating and kind of moving on to their further success. So great job to the hockey team. We have a number of our football players that are committed moving forward to the next level, continuing their education and their football careers. Hagen Diaz will take his talents to Mass Maritime Academy. We're very proud of Hagen. Jason Dyer, running back, leading rusher, and also James Barnacle, wide receiver and safety. They'll be taking their talents to UMass Dartmouth. I would be remiss if I didn't note over 31 student athletes in 21 different programs, and that was as of last year. This program has gotten forward to the next level. Over 31 student athletes, and that number has grown to 21 different colleges. Our Barnstable football team has helped students take that next step, and it's continuing, and we're oh so proud. One of them is Ronell Armstrong. He was selected for the All-State team. This is the best 26 players in Massachusetts, writ large. And Ronell, Barnstable High School, was selected. That's him, and went to the banquet. Ronell will take his talents to Central Connecticut to play college football. So outstanding job. And in conclusion, speaking of our spring sports, our girls lacrosse team was recently in action as they move forward in their season. And I know it's cold out there. A lot of our spring sports, it's cold. I have not yet been to a game. I usually like to go when it gets, I'm kind of a warm weather fan. But our spring athletes are competing. They're doing an outstanding job, and they are representing Barnstable Public Schools well. Thank you.
Item 3.5, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you. I too want to give my kudos and congratulations to the cast and crew of Mamma Mia. We've talked a little bit about the number of seniors, and just to demonstrate the depth of talent we have, there were 2 casts. I saw the Harbor cast, I believe, while others may have seen the Tavern cast. So we have enough talent that we can field 2 stage 2 entire casts, and they did a wonderful job. I brought my mom, and she loved it. She sat on the end of the row and participated in the finale, dancing with the cast members. Congratulations to BCIS for another excellent enrichment cluster. Had the pleasure of joining them on Friday morning. Enrichment clusters are a major component of their innovation plan. Students rotate through enrichments of choice on Fridays during the winter weeks. They're supervised by teachers, but also I want to make note of volunteers from the community that come in, police officers, fire department, people who work with various art programs like the Kituit Art Center. And so they had their cluster celebration on Friday morning. So that was very exciting, and I want to congratulate that whole school. Had the honor of attending the JROTC award ceremony a few weeks back. Congratulations to all of the cadets who were honored. We are 32 cadets strong this year and are continuing to expand. Awards were granted for academics, comportment with uniform standards, and leadership, among other things. I think most impressive were the numerous awards given out, both in terms of the number of cadets as well as the large number of cadets who have served dozens of times for the Color Guard. So congratulations to that program. Kristen and I had an opportunity to present to about 30 people as a part of the Citizens Leadership Academy. This is a program run through the town and meets every other year. I always enjoy this. It's an opportunity to share about our students, our schools, our curriculum. We talk about finances and facilities. We conclude with a tour of the high school, and it's always wonderful to see the school through the lens and eyes of folks who probably most of the people are citizens who don't have children in the schools, and so it really is, I think, eye-opening to them, and it's fascinating to hear what they are thinking. Always get positive feedback and support. You'll hear a little bit more about this from the Assistant Superintendent, Kristen, as well, but I want to thank BWB and BCIS for hosting me at Read Across America. I had the pleasure of reading to 2 different classrooms. One classroom heard about memory jars, savoring memories, including the ones of those to whom you are close, like a grandmother. And then I read a book, The Smart Cookie. It's a children's book about a cookie who feels inadequate compared to other baked goods, learning that intelligence isn't just about perfect scores, but also about creativity, confidence, and individual strengths. That might make its way into a graduation speech, but I will give due credit where it belongs. 2 things that are coming up. One is the Barnstable United Elementary School Outside the Pod event. This is a family night. The pod at BUE are the 2-person teams for the main subject areas. This is outside the pod. So this is about enrichments and specials. And our educators will work with students and their families on a STEM showcase, a school-wide art show. There will be a PTA fundraiser, and there's always fun hands-on activities and games. That is coming up next week. That is on Thursday night, April 9th at 5:30. Also coming up, I just want to elaborate a little bit and underscore the importance of the NEAS-NC decennial accreditation visit. So that's the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. They provide accreditation based on us meeting their indicators and standards at Barnstable High School. 2 years ago, a small team visited the high school in what's called a collaborative conference. The high school faculty and staff had done a self-reflection and identified a few priority areas that they wanted to be working on. And so the collaborative conference occurred to kind of validate or probe a little bit more deeply into those priority areas, and they are returning in this decennial visit 2 years later to check on the progress that has been made. And it's wonderful to hear the students talk about the preparation for this and involving the students and knowing that they are taking it seriously and ready to, I think, show with pride, but also honesty too, I'm sure, like they do with their reports about what's happening at the high school. The priority goal areas included written curriculum, making sure that career and technical education programs had a systematic review process, and also that accessibility and variety was known among the student population. There was a priority goal around the school site and plant, including maintenance, in order to support the delivery of curricular programs, and making sure that levels of courses were being provided and supported to the variety of learners that we have. So we will be participating in that as well as leadership. Kristen Harmon and I will be, and look forward to the team of, I don't know how many, is it 10 people, maybe 12 people, about a dozen people coming from different districts to provide a window and some insight into our continuous improvement. So that is going to occur April 12th through April 15th. And that concludes my report.
Questions or comments? Andre?
I have a number of papers here. Thank you so much, Chair. Just had a question about the NECS site visit. I participated in this actually in the schools that I've worked in, and you said that they had visited previously in a small group, and so how this is going to be will this visit be different than?
It will be different than the one that occurred 2 years ago in that there are more people who will be attending. They've changed the process within the past couple of years. So it had been that you do the self-study and then the big team comes and provides you with a report and feedback, and then you work towards that over the next 10 years. They've kind of changed it around, I think maybe so that it doesn't feel quite like a gotcha with this big event that happens up front. And so you do your self-study and you get some initial feedback from a smaller group, and then the larger team comes in a couple of years later to see the progress that you've been making.
Thank you. That's helpful. And again, so they're going to do. They're going to come around. They're going to do a report. They're going to talk to other people. And this plan is for 10 years. What they recommend and what we say that we're going to work on. This is a 10-year. Runway in order to?
Yes, there's a 10-year runway, and then there's kind of key benchmarks throughout. There is a point, 5 years as like a midpoint where you kind of update the commission with where you are, but it really is a 10-year look.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. And again, I think these are kind of opportunities for the district. Not to see, as you said, a gotcha moment, but to see some areas where we're strong and then some areas where we can improve, and then to kind of put some concrete things in place over 10 years is a long time. So put some concrete things in place over the long term. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? School committee participates in that as well. Mike and I are scheduled to meet with the visiting team, so they really do a thorough job checking in. Assistant Superintendent report, Kristen.
Thank you. Okay. So I wanted to share that we submitted our Student Opportunity Act progress report to the Department of Ed this week. As a reminder, the Student Opportunity Act requires school districts to develop 3-year plans that identify gaps in student learning opportunities and outcomes for different student groups and describe how any disparities will be addressed. Plans covering the years fiscal year 25 to 27 were submitted to DESE on April 1st, 2024. So we submitted our 3-year plan a few years ago, and each year of the plan, districts are expected to provide a progress update on their plan. So the progress report asks districts to provide a summary of progress to date related to the key focus areas outlined in our Student Opportunity Act plan and next steps for implementation. So as a reminder, the key focus areas that we'd identified in our plan that we submitted 2 years ago we identified the following: inclusive curriculum adoption process, supporting curriculum implementation, comprehensive approach to early literacy, and early literacy screening and support, all of which are aligned to district goals and actually topics that I typically provide updates on to you regularly through my school committee comments. Our progress report, as I said, was submitted this week and highlighted our current curriculum reviews, implementation of our new curricula that was adopted last year and the year prior, and samples of student growth in early literacy skills. So that was due today, and we submitted it at the start of the week. So speaking of curriculum reviews, again, and aligned to our Student Opportunity Act plan, so next week we will be entering into the final stage of our curriculum reviews in elementary math and secondary ELA. The pilots for each are quickly coming to a close, and on April 10th, during the half-day in-service, we will bring staff together for their respective consensus meetings. So very similar to what we did with the GLEAM, through the GLEAM grant last year with our secondary math and our health curriculum reviews. So during this culminating meeting, the groups will review and reflect on data collected over the course of the process, which includes weekly survey data collected from pilot teachers, student feedback collected through surveys and focus groups, and observational data from learning walks of pilot classrooms. Additional data includes outreach to districts who are currently using these programs to learn of their experience with the materials, the vendors, and student growth data since implementation. And as a culminating activity, the group will cast to their vote for the program selection, and from that, the recommendation will be presented to the superintendent, who will also be in attendance at the consensus meetings. And we'll also share the data, a full package to the superintendent, collected throughout the curriculum review process for the final approval. And I would be remiss not to acknowledge, so I am acknowledging Carrie Andrade and Laura Welch for their leadership of these two curriculum reviews for math and ELA respectively. The work that this process entails, it's a huge undertaking, and I truly appreciate the work that they have done to make these come to life. And then finally, as the superintendent mentioned, I also had the pleasure of being a guest reader. So I want to thank Ms. Sinclair's class from BWB for welcoming me into their classroom earlier in March as a guest reader. The class, they were great listeners while I read 3 books. I brought 3, and they kept saying I could do more, which is great. And as luck would have it, a few of the books I selected connected to units from our CKLA reading program. It was clear from the questions that they asked and how they contributed to our conversation that they had developed a lot of knowledge, and I would say a deep knowledge from the reading program. So it was really exciting to see that in a context, outside of the reading program itself. And then last Monday, the 23rd, I was a guest reader at BCIS. As usual, I showed up with my stack of books. But when I arrived, Ms. White, the reading specialist, let me know that I would be reading in Ms. Gilson's class, and would I mind reading a book that they provided to me. And what a great surprise, I would be reading a book that had been authored by Ms. Gilson. The teacher whose classroom I was reading in, it was definitely a first for me. The Power of the Little Two in You, it was a great read, had a wonderful message that we grow from our mistakes, and I will quote Little Two, mistakes help us learn, it's brave to just try, each step that we take helps us grow as we fly. I was so honored to be able to be a guest reader, reading in the presence of the author. I hope I did the story justice. Miss Gilson's class was an absolute joy to read to, a fantastic audience, and unfortunately, I failed to ask the author to sign my copy. So, lesson learned, I will be going back for that, but I'd be happy to pass this down. You have to give it back. But it's a great story. It was really an experience for me. And that's all I have today. Thanks.
Did she illustrate that as well?
I believe, I asked her that question. I am 99% sure she said she did. Yeah, really talented.
We should host a book signing. That's what we should do.
It's a great story, great message.
Right.
Really cute.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Andre?
Thank you, Chair. Just to begin, I love the learn, mistakes are helpful, and learning to try, right? That theme, again, the students had spoke to, and then it's just so much of learning. So I like what was said in the book, and it's simple. I remember, a statement that I remember saying is everything I needed to know I learned in kindergarten, and working at the elementary level. I find that to be true. These kind of childhood statements, whether it be Dr. Seuss or whatever the case may be, that's really what kind of things boil down to overall. So glad that you were a chance to read, and I just keep coming back to that, and it just makes, students, it's okay to make those mistakes. It's okay to fail, right? And you don't want to have an apathetic perspective, and you don't want to have a defeatist perspective. If I failed, no problem. It's not, that's how you get better. So love to hear that. I did want to, you mentioned screening and a comprehensive plan for early literacy as a part of the Student Opportunities Act. And again, that's something that's big for me, just because of what early literacy means in terms of a student's projected kind of outcomes. And just can you kind of speak to that a little bit more? It doesn't have to be too in depth, but just how that's kind of playing out. We're doing screening on early literacy, and we're looking at just a kind of a comprehensive approach to just making sure that is. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, and I would say that was a priority in our curriculum review for elementary ELA. We wanted to make sure that our program adoption included a strong early literacy program, phonics, and alignment from the skills portion into the knowledge portion. So that's a main driver why we landed with CKLA. So all of the curriculum adoption process, along with the implementation and support to educators, has lined that up for us. We use STAR as our assessment tool, and it has the CBM, curriculum-based measures for the various sub-skills related to early literacy. And so the data that I shared in our report was showing the growth of students in the early grades, progress from fall to winter monitoring, and a report that I shared also indicates that our interventions are supporting students and moving them up levels within those skills.
Again, thank you for that. I think the older you get, you take it for granted, reading, you just, and all of these things that are really ingrained and established at the elementary level. And again, I am, that's something that's important to me. I've said it, I'm going to say it again. And I do feel that there are challenges for our beginning students that it's different. They are learning through flickering images on a screen, okay? That's not how you learn. You learn to, these by sitting down, listening, repetition, 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 repetition. Never mind the gaps in learning because of the pandemic, for some elementary students, right? You miss first grade, second grade because you're hybrid. You can't teach these things hybrid, all right? And it's not something that we can get through a flickering, so I see it as just kind of a downstream effect, frankly. The things that we're seeing, and it's clear. But those, it cannot be understated. If you either have kids in the system or happen to work at an elementary level, just those old, consistent practices are so important. And I feel that they're being interrupted by the accelerating technology. And that's another thing that we have to kind of be mindful of, that's an obstacle. All right. Hooked on Phonics certainly worked for me, and Reading Rainbow worked for me. But it's a new world that we're living in with the smartphones, the artificial intelligence, and there's no duplicate. Okay, the computer can tell you all these things, but you can't. That doesn't mean that you can do it for yourself. So I'll get off my soapbox. But thank you for the early literacy feedback.
Any other questions, comments? No? Okay. Before we go on to old business, I noticed a couple people walked in just as I closed public comment, and it was very short window because nobody was interested. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't trying to make public comment and you missed your opportunity. Okay, thank you. So we're on item 4.1, approve revised policy JEB, the entrance age.
Move to approve the revised policy JEB, entrance age, as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
So just before you vote, again, this was an update that from children having to be 5 years old by September 1 to having to be 5 years old by September 8, which would be the latest first day of kindergarten that we would have based on calendar. Everything else in the policy remained the same. I did not get any feedback. Did you, Courtney, Sarah? So the first read was last month, and none of us had any feedback. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 4.2, approve revised policy BEDH, public comment at school committee meetings.
Move to approve the revised policy BEDH, public comment at school committee meetings as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
So some background. Again, this was a first read last meeting. It's updated to reflect allowing the chair's discretion to have speakers other than those stated by policy, which are the taxpayers and residents of Barnstable and family, students, and employees of Barnstable Public Schools. Any discussion? Andre?
Yes, thank you, Chair. And just as you kind of expressed it and explained it, I'm very much in favor of this policy revision and allowing these community members that take the time to come to these meetings on a Wednesday, you know, when people have very busy schedules, and you might have previously been a taxpayer in Barnstable, but you moved away, you're an alumni, you feel very strongly about the district, and you want to come to take part in our meetings, and that this policy revision now allows the chair to allow those additional voices, very important voices, into the conversation, which I think is appropriate and only serves to help the district. People want to communicate and provide their feedback in terms of how we can be better. It's great that we're listening to them.
Did you receive any feedback, Courtney?
No.
No, Sarah? No.
May I offer one comment? I just wanted to say thank you for the reconsidering of this particular policy. It's always bothered me that was not written this way. So I'm thankful that it's being revised. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 4.2, approve the revised policy BEDH-E guidelines for public comment.
Move to approve the revised policy BEDH-E guidelines for public comment as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
Okay, so the only revision, having the first read last month or last meeting, was to align it with policy BEDH, basically removing having people citing their address. We felt for safety that wasn't necessary and changed citing the address to just city or town. So it's in line with the parent policy. Any feedback, Courtney? Sarah? Nope, okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 5.1, the superintendent mid-year review process. So the mid-year review process involves school committee members setting up individual meetings with the superintendent to check on and have discussions surrounding progress towards her goals. It gives school committee the opportunity to indicate any concerns so that the superintendent has time to regroup and address those. So when Jen reaches out, she'll be reaching out to you to set those meetings up. Please respond and make sure you get back to her. And finance and facilities. Item 6.1, the facilities update for Centerville Elementary School. Welcome, Doug.
Handoff.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Here we are talking about, tonight, we're going to talk about Centerville Elementary School. The school was built and opened in 1956, and then it was added onto with a second floor in 1970. Total square footage of this school is 54,510 square feet. The population is approximately 250 as of January. The teachers and the staff are approximately 36 plus or minus. And there's approximately 13 homeroom general classrooms out of the 25 rooms that are used for education at this school. Some of the past projects to mention, there was a Univent upgrade in 2017. There was an addition and upgrade to the DDC controls to the Univents this year in 2026, and that was just completed. And an addition of a new generator in 25-26, which we're still waiting on final connections at this school, pending some underground and switchgear connections. Facilities projects recently completed for Centerville, as I mentioned, developed and implementing new emergency exit sign. This is district-wide. We're implementing those, and those will be going out, I'm being told, April vacation. And we also, like I just mentioned, installation and completion of the DDC controllers. But the facility projects planned for FY26 and for the year 26 into FY27. There's a door and hardware replacement project. This project, as I mentioned before, this project will involve approximately 12 exterior doors, and this is planned for a spring/summer of 2027. Centerville is amongst two other schools that will be considered as phase 2 of the door replacement project. We have 4 schools currently underway that will be happening this summer. The door project will include a new vestibule layout and visitor management at that school. And those drawings for that front vestibule are being worked on as we speak. Masonry repairs and foundation and concrete repairs near the loading dock will be happening hopefully this summer. And miscellaneous mechanical equipment upgrades will be happening throughout the year. Now to some of the numbers. At the top, as we have in all the other schools, we talk about fiscal year 25 and into fiscal year 26. These are some of the products that were already approved and what we're working on. Of course, one is the BPS mechanical upgrades, about 30,000. Again, that number is spread across out of 250 divided by the 8 or 9 schools. And the BPS HVAC efficiency upgrades, again, 40,000 is that 1/9 percentage of the total CIP. Same thing goes for the infrastructure, network equipment replacement of switches throughout the district. You know, we're adhering about 18,000 for that. And then the security camera upgrades across the district. Of course, the executive director of technology is taking care of those 2 items going forward. So that brings us to the fiscal year asked for this particular school is about 113,000. CIP requests being presented for FY27 this year for Centerville. Again, as I mentioned, the exterior door project to include Centerville and the vestibule, we're talking roughly about 300,000 based on our estimates. The BPS mechanical upgrades, again, divided by 9, 30,000 for FY27. HVAC repairs, another 30,000 approximate for FY27. Again, the network equipment, 18, and then the security camera upgrades, 25,000. The mason repairs I talked about, that's about 80,000 for this year for FY27, and then we're going to jump to some major repairs in FY28. In grounds, paving and patching the driveways, I'm allocating about 175,000 to taking care of some of the driveways, drives, and parking areas at that school. Totaling for FY27, just for Centerville, about $658,000. Now we get into the 5-year forecast, and we talk a little bit about FY28, 29, and 30. We still need to demolish the portable classroom buildings, or the building is one exact classroom outside of that school. We're estimating that to come in around 28,000. Classroom closets, bookshelves, cabinets, millwork. The school is in desperate need to upgrade all that millwork in the school. So we estimated and came up with $272,000. And again, you all know that a lot of these costs came from the Collier report for the feasibility study, and then I've had to add to them as the years have progressed. Painting the interior classrooms and trim, about $110,000. Replacing the stage gym floor tile. The gym floor tile on that stage is popping up and coming up, so I'm allocating that for FY28, about $43,000. This school needs an upgrade to its fire alarm system. It's been on the docket of an agenda to take care of. We're looking at about $318,000 for that. Repair to about 11 exhaust fans at this school. That's $108,000. Replace metal railings and ramps. That continues on. That's also at the loading dock, and then some exterior areas. There's some exterior railings that need some attention. And then the exterior siding, trim, and facial work on that school. As I think any of you have known, if you've gone up to that school, the exterior siding, the trim, the fascia, the soffit work, it needs some extensive work. I don't want to push it off too far. I'm keeping it in the FY28. Then we'll jump to FY29, I'm sorry. And we're talking about floor tile replacement throughout the school. That's about $250,000. And of course, this school needs, like the other schools we've talked about, it needs sprinklers and fire protection throughout. Estimate for this would be 1.5, it could be more. Tying into the town sewer and update sanitary pipes. As I'm going through the schedule, I'm understanding it's FY29. I'm still trying to find out and work on the involvement of us as the district and what we're doing with that sanitary tie-in. Basically, whose cost is it to infill the old septic system and stuff like that. Cape Cod Collaborative just came up this week. Replace the wheelchair ramp, lift with a code-compliant elevator. Right now, the shaft that's there looks like an elevator, but it's actually a wheelchair lift. So this would be bringing it up to code because at some point when we start to get into, as I mentioned before, we start spending a certain dollar amount on the school, we're going to have to start bringing up the ADA compliance. Windows on this school. It says rooms 2, 4, 6, and 8, about $1.3 million. And then there was some additional windows out back. The bottom line is the rear of that building needs some attention. It needs almost all new windows in the rear of that building. So that's another $2 million on that one. Of course, at some point, the restroom renovations will have to take place. That I'm keeping that in FY29 at $450,000. And then at some point, as we do what we're doing with all the schools, the electrical distribution will need an upgrade. This upgrade in FY29, which of course would then go into the FY30, the next line down, incorporating AC, air conditioning, and a chiller to provide AC to the school. That's about $2.4 million. Of course, then we'd have to do some boiler room upgrades, about $90,000. Boiler room upgrades to more high-efficiency boilers is about $1.4. And then upgrade to the domestic water piping throughout, I'm being told that's on the list to be done. So we're keeping it in FY30 at $1.2 million. And then roof replacement, that's over the rear wing, or the newer wing they're calling it. I'm calling it the rear of the building, is $1 million. And then the asphalt roof replacement near the rear of the building, like I just mentioned, was 1.2. And then the new acoustical ceilings throughout, of course, we wouldn't do it until after we get the roof all complete because we have had some leaks in there. So FY30, looking just at that, is about 7.8, and you'll notice the year before was about 8.6. But totaling up for the whole entire, for this school for all of these needed repairs, right now is about $20.4 million on this school in particular. I got to say, this school needs some attention. It needs a lot of work. I think going through the years, it might be an idea of, we've talked about it a little bit, of possibly looking at it more in a full remodel of the school versus some of the yearly updates. But a lot to come, a lot to think about. When I talk about the whole entire district later in this year, we can talk a little bit more about this school. So let's jump to the athletic fields and courts and gyms that are associated with this school. Yes, this school has 2 baseball fields across the street, but those are town maintained and town managed. This school has a gymnasium. I believe it's a regulation court size. It's scheduled by BPS. It's used by BPS about 96% of the time. We do rent it out. The condition of the gym needs some paint, some stage repairs, and there's talk we need to take care of some of the padding around the school, around the gym perimeter. That responsibility falls on the facilities department, and the rec really has no involvement per se in that gymnasium. Okay, the square footage cost. I've been presenting each one of these, so now we're down at Centerville. And if we look at the $20,452,000 that I mentioned, this comes out to about $375.20 per square foot. And then as you see up further up, it's not the least, but it's not the most. Any questions?
Questions?
Yeah, just actually a point of clarification. If you can go back one slide, I think it should say not BCIS. Oh, one more the other way. Forward one. It should say Centerville, right?
Yes, it should.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
That's all. I just wanted to make sure that was clear to the public. Thank you again for.
Yes, definitely, because Barnstable community would have more than just the gym.
Right, and that's not the topic tonight.
Right. Thank you. I'll
Thank you.
change that and get that off to Jen.
Thank you very much for all the work you're doing on this. It's important.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Andre?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Wanted to talk a bit about the vestibule project, which is kind of forthcoming, and just kind of the theory behind that. I'm really very much in favor of this idea, and I understand it has to relate to safety, meaning, updating the doors, and so like you walk in and you're in kind of one area. You don't just walk right in the building. You walk in and you're in kind of, is that what this?
Correct. Now, if you recall at Centerville, it's one door in, then you have a vestibule, this room, and then there's one door, again, a second door to go into the school. Well, this new design will be at like all the schools. There'll be an entrance hallway, and then there'll be an exit hallway. And this will have the visitor management center. So you'll enter the front door, the first door, you go up to that visitor management system, either put in your credentials or what have you, and then you're allowed to go onto the second door and into the school. The other side will be an exit only, as well as a teacher entrance. So it'll basically be dividing the vestibule into two sections. Right now it's just one big room, and then you enter the school.
Okay, very, very good. And these are the type of, it's good. The update is good, but the school that I work in has kind of a similar, I'm a history person, so the school I happen to work in has been in existence for over 100 years, and they're very proud of it in New Bedford, and they want to keep it going, but it's a well over 100-year building, but you go, being there, like you see the doors and the like it's been updated, so you feel a sense of safety is my point, and you
Correct.
feel a sense, these doors are, got to sign in, and then you come in, the parents, and it's all in close proximity. There's no extended time, but I think that overall sense of, we're taking these protocols and, that the safety is utmost and you can see it and it makes a notable difference. So I'm glad that with this upgrade, because again, this is built in the post-World War II era, it was built in 1950, but it's being modernized so that it can continue to have safe and very much good use for the district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mike?
I just have one question, not about Centerville, actually. Can you just give a really quick update on the High West heating? I know it was going out to bid, or no? What was it at? It was going to get plans done last month. What did we approve last month? I forget.
So you approved some construction funds that then go on to town council.
Okay, so it's still on that process?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Item 6.2, budget adoption. Turn it over to Sarah.
Thank you. So I'll be presenting from here. There's just a short set of slides for largely the community, just so that they're up to speed if they haven't been following the budget process. Tonight is the budget adoption. At your last meeting, March 18th, was the public hearing on the budget, and prior to that, there was my recommended budget initially in March, following the workshop that we held in February. From tonight, should you approve the budget, we would submit it to the town manager's office tomorrow, and then there would be a series of first reads and hearings with the town council heading into June. So this is an updated slide with the operating budget, asking you to vote on an FY27 proposed budget. In that middle column, it's just a 2.78% increase related to the general fund. And you can see that we're proposing to cover approximately $3.7 million from the budget from savings. Some changes. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the original one. Sorry. A couple changes since the budget hearing. That was what was presented at the budget hearing. We removed 6 of the newly proposed positions from the budget, 4 PCTAs and 2 teachers that we were identifying for full-day pre-K for 4-year-olds. It had to do with the inability to support it through the CPPI grant. So this resulted in a $97,172 reduction in the operating budget, and a reduced reliance on savings was how we thought we should propose it to you. So this is the updated operating budget. The appropriation would be $92,529,462, or just under 3%, with a savings account amount of $3,616,620, which is a little bit less than the savings offset that you had from last year. And the general fund budget would be $96,146,082, or a 4.75% increase. The motions in your packet are a little bit different than that, in that they also include some other expenditures related to circuit breaker and some of our revolving accounts. Here's the updated cost center with those positions removed. You had seen something similar at the hearing, and then here's an updated version with the DESI function codes. I'll leave this up.
Move to adopt a budget of $5,532,392 for the cost center entitled Hyannis West Elementary School for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026.
All right. Is there a second? Any discussion?
I'm just gonna, just for the public, I'm gonna recuse myself on this due to I have a family member that works at High West. That's why it's being done in 2 separate items.
Any other discussion?
Just so this is 2. Okay.
Hyannis West Elementary School budget is separated out from the remaining total school budget, so that Mike can recuse himself from that portion of the budget vote.
Thank you, Chair.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Move to adopt a total budget of $99,917,105 for the school department for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026, to be funded by an appropriation of $92,529,462, subject to change depending on the final state aid received by the town, and an expenditure not to exceed $2,971,023 from the circuit breaker revolving fund, an expenditure not to exceed $200,000 from the transportation fee revolving fund, an expenditure not to exceed $600,000 from the school choice tuition revolving fund and funds not to exceed $3,616,620 from the school department savings account.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Andre?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just had a question about the reductions, particularly from the preschool. There was a PCTA position. What is that?
So the PCTA positions are paraprofessionals, and in our preschool classrooms, we have one teacher and 2 PCTAs. PCTA stands for Personal Care Teaching Assistants. At one point in time, they were PCAs or Personal Care Assistants, but we had revised the job description and title 2 years ago, roughly, as a result of contract negotiations.
Okay, thank you. Do those, I know that we had talked about full-day pre-K, and that was something that we thought would be good in the district and helpful for our families. And is that still the case even with,
No, so this, thank you for the question. This would keep the current model of preschool as half-day with 3-year-olds in the morning and 4-year-olds in the afternoon. We would need to add these 2 additional classrooms in order to expand the number of full-day seats for 4-year-olds. So this would keep the status quo with our early learning center.
Okay, thank you. And because that seemed good to me, so just kind of going forward, we would need these additional roles in order to just so I understand that.
So can I just jump in for a second? So what it is this was going to be getting, you know how I told you we have that committee I'm on there for the grant?
Yes.
So what it was is, as I said, we had a final meeting to decide. So in order to do the full day preschools, we were going to have to have some of that grant money in order to do those full day preschools. The folks, there's 12 people that are on that board of that oversee that grant, and they decided, to be quite honest, to go in a different direction. That's kind of what it comes down to in a nutshell. Is that about, that pretty much sums it up. They decided they're the head of that grant, so they decide how that grant money is going to be spent. And they decided, as I said, they did a bunch of other things, but that's the direction they decided to go in. That's why.
Okay, thank you again, because I heard that and I was personally in favor, even of having the longer hours and something to kind of look at going forward. But thank you for the clarification.
So if I remember correctly, the initial budget was prepared with $250,000 expected from the grant, and that I thought
No,
it was
closer to 250.
It was at 250 in the budget materials, and then it came down in one of the meetings for CPPI to $160,000, and then I believe the decision was more in line with $66,000. And I'm going off my memory, but that's what I recall.
Yeah. So what it was is the district needed $160,000. That's what was discussed in our last meeting. Was $160,000 or 166? I don't remember exactly. And what they decided to do was to offer not offer. That's the wrong word. To allocate $66,000, which was what all the other preschools were getting in this organization or in this group that get money from the grant that's where the 66,000 came from. So that's why for Sarah, that's why she's taken out. That's why she would have needed the 97, because with the 66, that would have equaled 160. So that's why.
I think talking to Chris, we would need more.
Yeah, and I understand that
because 250.
Because it was really 250. But they came for the grant. They came to us for 100. They came to the grant people for 160 or 166. I forget what the number was.
Thank you. This is something I feel pretty strong about. I was so proud when I heard Sarah suggest this at the roundtable meeting. I thought this was a really great initiative. I know CCPI has their reasons for all the different directions they have to go in, lots of things to balance. But this felt like a hit to what I would agree with Andre was a really great program And I just want to thank Enoch Cobb for all that they do. They are all special education trained teachers. So the fact that we could offer full day programs for special education needs, I think, was something that would really, really hit the community in such a meaningful way. It's a bummer to not get the money from the grant. So one thing I would like to suggest is that we throw in a budget, and Chris, don't have a stroke on me here, a little bit unbalanced to the town and ask for a little bit more money, ask for that difference of $190,000 so that there's some way. This is 1/10 of 1% of all the money we're working with to be able to give such a great program to special needs little ones in the community.
Chris, did you have comments, or you're moving? Are you moving out?
He's moving slowly, though, so he's hoping you move on to the next thing and we vote before he gets here.
So as this was being discussed, so our total budget including the High West portion was coming in at $105,449,497 is what I quickly added. And so if we were to take the difference between the $250,000 that was initially in there in the budget based on grant funding to support that full day model, and divide it by the total budget, we're really, it comes out to 0.0017, so closer to maybe 0.2% of the whole budget, which is not large in the scope of the entire budget. So
And I would also make the point that if we get these kids kindergarten ready, I know it's not this fiscal year, but their financial needs on the district will be less because they have the support that they need now.
Earlier support.
So when we built the budget, from the very beginning of this process, we included $258,877 in grant funds that would go to support this. I understand, fast forward to last week, the CPPI task force or committee ended up voting or recommending that the district receive $66,000 in grant funds. So
but that was not the amount we were talking. We were talking at the meeting, it was like $160,000. I don't know where that came from, but that's what was presented at the day of the meeting. Kathy, you were at the meeting before. Do you remember if that was 100? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure where they came up with the 166. The material that I had presented to me that day was for 100 and it was either 160 or 166.
It was 160 the day that I went on the 20th. So I don't know, because I am a substitute.
We never talked about
I don't know when it went from what was.
I can tell you that
Sarah can.
As far as the CPPI thing, we had never talked about it until the meeting you went to for me. That was the first time that it had been brought up to us. So I don't know how. I don't know how it went from your desk and your desk to our desk, but it went from whatever, because that was never discussed, that amount. It was $160,000 is what was discussed.
I think when you're talking about a budget of one of the schools, at some point you're talking about it in this contained way back in like the December timeframe when we're putting things together by cost center. But fast forward, and the budget that we then present to you is in this big aggregate. And so I have been thinking about an analogy like baking cookies. You have the choice as to whether or not you're going to put the walnuts in the cookies, but once they're baked, you can't take them out. And so we had a budget that was a big picture budget, and that small, minute budget solely related to the cost center. You know, there are other things in this budget, baked into this budget, like some of the restorations and a BCBA and a halftime school psych, and we're trying to make the big picture work. And so I think that's the change.
Oh, I'm sure it just was at a different cost center. I'm sure that's it was probably like there were some positions that were moved to a different cost center. All I'm saying is when it came to the CPPI, it was just the $160,000, but I'm sure it was probably, obviously it was $250. It's just maybe a position was put into a different cost center and
Always
something
check
like that.
with the finance gentleman.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. But I could just, so
presented.
my point is more that I could tell by the time it got to our, the CPPI people, it was 160,000. So I don't know where the disconnect was, but it was
I
from
just
your
wanted to
desk
give
to
that-
somewhere.
Yeah,
There
I
was
just
a
wanted
disconnect.
to give that background. In terms of adding a little bit more money and presenting an unbalanced budget, we cannot do that. The school committee needs to present a balanced budget. So the option is, if you want to add money, you'll just have to increase your revenue in other areas, except for the 60-40 split that has already been agreed upon. That cannot change. If we submit the budget to finance tomorrow and that number is higher than what was agreed upon, they're going to kick that back, and we'll be back here in 2 weeks voting on this original number.
But it's so fun to see each other every 2 weeks.
I know. What I did do, however, is I put together 4 options of motions that the school committee can review and vote on. They're the recommended budget that you see tonight. It was their second option is the original budget with the full grant award amount. The third option is pre-K with the reduced grant award amount of $66,000. And option 4 is pre-K with no grant award at all, fully funded by the operating budget. So you guys can review these, discuss these.
Can we ask
Kathy, do you want
questions?
me to pass these out? You want me to give them to Jen?
Can I just ask a question first? So Chris, why can't we take the money out of our savings?
That's what's recommended
Okay,
in these
so
motions.
that's what- yeah.
That's the funding source.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you increase, you'll see the increase here, and then the savings is increased, the corresponding.
Right, so that's what
amount.
we're going to increase it out of, is out of taking the money out of the savings
If you want to
account.
include it, yep.
That's
Can you explain options 2 and 3 a little bit more?
It's easier if we see it as
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
explaining, so, yeah.
Thank you.
And we'll pass it down, thanks. Thanks, Chris.
Sure.
The one thing, just as everybody's gathering the paperwork before Chris goes into his
Been there for Sarah,
explanation,
too.
is both taking the money from the funding from savings and being fortunate enough to be an award recipient of a grant. They're both fixed one-time expenditures that once this project starts, it's my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that at some point moving forward, that is always going to end up having to be rolled into the operating budget, because you can't continue to use one-time funding for the operation of the schools. Sarah, do you have any?
I mean, Kristen might want to chime in. She's been involved with it. I mean, there are districts that are going on 8 years of getting grant funding to support their program. So I think it is a little different. I think quite frankly, I think it's where some of the millionaires' tax money has been going with respect to education, rather than going to K-12. They've been putting it into pre-K and higher ed. And so this has been ongoing. So is there a risk? Sure, there's always a risk with grant funding, but I think it's a little different than a lot of ones we see.
And then I do know that the state's proposed budget has increased this line item. I went to the webinar that they had, and so there is support at the state level moving forward as well. So it could happen. Mike.
So I'm not a big use savings for ongoing costs, recurring costs. Sorry, that's the word you taught me. Recurring costs. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think we should. My opinion is we should, and I'll tell you why. This being on that CPPI committee, this kind of all happened at the last second. So therefore, I think we need to be very careful for next year. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be happy about, or I wouldn't necessarily be voting in favor of doing it multiple years. But I think for this year, I think I would be in favor of doing it for and I know I wouldn't make anything that has to be for 1 year and that's it. But I think with the mindset of we're all still going to be here next year. So I still am in the mindset of doing it for 1 year. But next year we have to figure out different funding source than our savings account. That's my own personal opinion on this.
Any other comments? Andre?
I mean, we've been talking a lot about the 60-40 split and how it doesn't meet our needs. And I think that this is an opportunity to start having discussions for next year early on about how and why it doesn't meet our needs and how and why we need a little bit more. I mean, you guys are so surgical about the cuts and the every year and the reviewing everything constantly every year. It is just a lot. And so I think this is, could be maybe the precursor for a discussion on those things if we start now. And it's in real time and it's palpable and, it's needed and all of these things. So I just think in the context of changing things, it might be nice to have conversations constantly about things like this, and how important it is for the well-being of everyone in the town, from the littlest to the oldest, right? So that's all. Thank you.
Andre?
Yeah, for me, I just think that I didn't, again, I was a little taken off guard by this because, I was hearing about this opportunity. It seemed to be in line with what many community members are asking for, are looking for, and to provide this, early child care in a way that is possibly more affordable while not being competitive with other, it just seemed, it just seemed to be a win-win. So that's why I asked my original question. I wasn't sure, if we're going to have the reductions and then be able to keep the child care, or if the one were tied to the other. But again, I'm in favor of having this option. I think it's going to really serve the community. And just where I stand is having gone, I would like, if that particular item was going to be in question, then we could have had this discussion 2 weeks ago.
No, it couldn't. It happened on Friday.
Right. So that
Friday to today. Today's Wednesday.
So that's why you just feel a little because we could have gone over the numbers, and I know it couldn't have happened, but that's
right.
It's not an accusation of anything. Where I'm coming from is that this is important. I'm in favor of keeping it. I know we're going to have to do some things that we are not common practice, and then I don't. To your point, next year when we're going, the idea that they could take away funds at the last minute, we're aware of that so that we can possibly prepare. I don't think it's right from a Friday, to now, and now we have to take away something that people were in favor of.
All I could say is the phone call ruined Chris and Sarah's weekend, just because it was literally the last minute. I'm sure they were scrambling because this was literally just happened, I think Thursday or Friday.
So, and we do have support, strong support from the two individual schools that are impacted the most and the leadership. That's what they were really pushing for, correct?
We certainly do. I think people, as educators, really feel like investing in our youngest learners is going to help have our students be more kindergarten ready, and that, particularly at the Ena Cobb Early Learning Center, we're working with some of our most vulnerable students with respect to their student learning needs. My only caution here that I'm a little bit nervous about is if we're hoping that we get more grant funding in the future, the grant funding is to expand seats. And by funding it through savings at this time, I just worry that then makes the Barnstable Public Schools program ineligible for the additional grant funding going forward because you've made the seats exist. And I am a little bit nervous about the timing. And so Kristen's kind of looking that up. But that's the idea of this grant funding, is that we're expanding classrooms or we're expanding the opportunity for full-day pre-K. And so it's a caution that I have. I don't know if those of you in the leadership meetings, if that resonates, but I'm just a little worried about that.
One of the parts of it I thought was, without getting into like the conversations within that meeting, because it's not open to the public. the premise of going a different direction was not that this didn't qualify for the money because they're giving. Well, so I'm kind of thinking as I'm talking. So the grant gave you $66,000. So that means we as a school district obviously qualified for the grant because otherwise they would have said we can't give you anything. Does that kind of run that through? They gave you some of the grant. They just didn't give us as much as we wanted, right? So that right there would tell me that we don't. Why would we not? We qualified this year for it. They gave us $66,000 of it. So next year, how could they then say, no, this year you don't qualify? Unless the grant changes how you qualify. To me, the leadership team giving the district money, I would think, I'm not a lawyer, but would legally put them on the hook that next year we just want it to be increased. Does that make
It
kind
does.
of running that through? Yep. They gave us money. They just didn't give us enough.
Yeah, I could see that, sure.
Can we ask?
Well, can I ask you a question? Would it be a problem because this is going to be coming out of our savings? Can we pass the budget as it is and at our next school committee meeting, kind of get some more answers and just make a motion to take money out of our savings to fund our preschool program?
I think the budget right now doesn't include the preschool.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
I
Just
think
pass it as it is.
I think you could do it as like a so-called supplemental.
That's what I'm thinking. No? Chris is...
Come on, Chris.
No,
a little more flexible, buddy.
Well, could we, I know we'd have to go to the town and take money out of our savings, so I know we have to go to the town, but my question is can you pass the budget as it is without it in there? And then what would happen if all of a sudden in May we're like, okay, now we want to do the preschool with our savings account? Can we do that legally?
We're talking about like a core facet of the operating budget, right? That you're building and voting on for FY27. And so the operating budget that you vote on tonight is the operating budget that's going to get sent to the town manager tomorrow for inclusion in the overall town budget that's going to go to the town council. And so if there are changes...
You don't really advise that?
I wouldn't advise it.
Because kind of doing an end around is kind of what we're doing.
You're going to have to come back and vote a revised operating budget before the town council. And then if you're talking about May, there's concerns with first reads and when the town council has to pass their budget. So I wouldn't view it as a supplemental. I think a non-legal opinion might be if you're concerned about eligibility. You could maybe take, I'd suggest maybe option 3, that you take the grant award money that has already been recommended so that we're in that process. And then maybe you would attach a motion that, we'll use this first year, FY27, with the $66,000 and the operating budget support as a trial period under the, direction that the operating budget really cannot sustain this moving beyond FY27, and then that gives us next year to revisit with the CPPI folks about the funding for the program.
Can I ask a question? Could we do option 2 with the caveat that if we get more grant money, we replenish the savings account?
Option 2 assumes that you receive the full $258,877 from the CPPI group.
Oh, I think I read it wrong.
So that would require,
is not really an
that would
option.
require
Option 2 is not an
another
option.
vote by that group
That's
to
not an
award
option.
Yeah,
that
that's not
full
happening.
amount.
Okay.
Can I move option 3?
We just want to make sure everybody... So, motion number 3 includes the anticipated $66,000 grant amount awarded and the additional from savings to fund for the first year, correct?
What it essentially includes, yes, it includes all those salaried positions in the operating budget minus $66,000.
that we're getting from the
Yep.
grant.
Yep.
All right. Any
Yeah.
objections?
Nope.
Okay. Move to...
Yes, so,
Oh, yeah, so...
all right, so, We have a motion on the floor that's been seconded but hasn't been voted.
We voted for Hyannis West.
We voted for Hyannis. Did
Yeah,
we?
because Mike
Yeah,
stepped
because I
over
walked
that
out.
one.
Oh, that we didn't, you read the motion. You read the motion you read the original motion and it was
And
seconded.
that's what we had the
So
conversation.
should we vote that one down because we're going to motion number 3?
Yes, we could do that. So, all in favor of the motion that's on the floor?
No.
All in favor?
No.
Opposed?
No.
Yes, no.
Opposed?
Very confusing.
Okay. Put your hand up.
No, this is the final one. This is the big one. Yeah, this is the big one.
Put your hand up if you're opposed to the motion that was currently on the floor. All right, that's unanimous. So now we can take another motion.
Move to adopt a total budget of $100,207,154 for the school department for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026, to be funded by an appropriation of $92,529,462, subject to change depending on the final state aid received by the town, and expenditure not to exceed $2,970,1023 from the Circuit Breaker Revolving Fund, and expenditure not to exceed $200,000 from the Transportation Fee Revolving Fund, and expenditure not to exceed $600,000 from the School Choice Tuition Revolving Fund, and funds not to exceed $3,906,669 from the School Department Savings Account.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much,
Unanimous.
Chris.
Thank you very
Great
much for coming
options.
up with these.
Okay.
Sorry to scare you there.
All right. Item 6.3, approve fiscal year 27 fee schedule. You're back up, Chris.
Move to Move to approve fiscal year 27 fee schedule as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Just a,
Question?
I did have just a quick question. These are our current, does this include, this is our fee schedule for everything, facilities and fee, like, what?
It includes everything. The only changes that are in the packet are for the food services that was recommended and the increase for athletics that was recommended. The facilities subcommittee is still doing work on the proposed FY27 fee schedule. So what you're voting on right now is essentially to leave all the building rental facility fees the same until a vote happens in the future where you may or may not change those. So those are the only two changes, the athletic department and the food service department.
So thank you. If the facilities does provide a different schedule, would we vote on that at another meeting?
Would have to, yes. Yep.
Understood. Thank you.
This is the same fee schedule with no changes that's been in our packet from the last meeting, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so we've had that. Okay. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I have to start it. So item 6.4, approve the accounts payable warrant, fiscal year 26, warrant number 39.
Move to approve accounts payable warrant fiscal year 26, warrant number 39, in the amount of $651,213.92.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 7.1 is the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda includes the approval of the school committee meeting minutes of March 18, 2026, and the budget transfer authorizations.
Move to approve the items in the consent agenda as presented in tonight's materials.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 8.1, future agenda items. Would anybody like any agenda items suggested at this time?
Actually, I would like to just have, once again, just I understand why Kathy, because I made the,
It's directed that if
that it was
the
only if the
attorney
lawyer
was
showed up, so I
available.
completely understand that.
Right.
Can we just put it back on again and just see if we can get him for the May, or actually, I guess I wouldn't even, do we even need him for the May meeting? I guess my question to everybody would be does that letter or document we got from our attorney satisfy, do we even need him here, or can we use that as our guiding influence as what we do next?
I feel as though we have the information we were seeking, but I'll go with the purview of the committee members.
Yeah, for me, again, as I noted early in the meeting, I do feel just a conversation by the school committee with some legal background would be helpful for many community members, just to understand. It could just be where it stands and what our options are, but it has an agenda item, people being able to speak to us, and I think it would be give us something concrete, and then we can go from there. It might not come up again after that, but I think it would be helpful.
I think we should just put it on and not worry if the lawyer can come or not. I would just like to have the conversation.
But an invitation could be
I'll offer it, but
I'd like to offer that I think it's important the attorney be here, even if he's Skyped in or whatever we're doing, Zooming, because I think it's important that the public hear what was in the privileged and confidential document that we received. Because short of that, the link is missing between what we're capable of doing and what we're not capable of doing. And I think that is of the utmost importance in this case, because that's the big, fat, secret part that everybody thinks that we're, not acting and we can't act and all this other stuff. So I do think that we should have him here offering his opinion in this room to the public. I think that's what our job is right now. So, and we can Zoom him, Skype him, teletransport him, whatever he wants. It's fine.
Well, now that the document was brought up in a public meeting, I believe it can be posted. So it was referenced, and because it was referenced in a public meeting, it can be posted on diligence. Is my understanding that I'm going to clarify with him.
Yeah, can you just clarify? Because to me, for me personally, and I would be okay with just using that as my guiding document to make my decision.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, we paid him to do that, and we're paying him a second time to do the same thing.
I mean, if he can come down, great. I guess for me, I would say if he can come down, great. And if he can't, I would be okay using that.
Or Zoom in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll double check with him, but that's my understanding.
I just feel like the credibility piece of this committee is dependent upon an attorney describing our role in detail. And I feel like it's much more up close and personal if he's here delivering personally, or at least in something that can be recorded where people can hear him and his opinions. And therefore, then it's not Andre's opinion versus Jen's opinion versus anybody else's opinion. It's the guy we're paying to protect us financially, and in other ways from liability, explaining to the public. Because what I don't like is when there are no parameters. There's no four corners within which we work. And in the court of public opinion, that flies a lot. So, and what I've found over my years of public service is that there is one truth that we all need to adhere to. And your opinion of the truth is not the truth. The truth is the truth. And that, I think, more than ever in this day and age, locally and nationally, is the thing we really need to hold on to with both hands. And that's why I'm all for him coming here in person or being Zoomed in or Skyped or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that he has a forum with the public, but I'm saying that he explains the school committee's role very succinctly the way he did in that letter, and it's just heard and it's broadcast and everybody hears it. Because on all these, social media fora that are out there, there's all sorts of conjecture and public opinion happening that may not correctly define our role. And that's what I want the public to know, that we're not all on the take, we're not all hiding, we're not, doing these things. We're working with the parameters of our role. in our charge.
So yeah, I will definitely do that. And I think there's a better opportunity. I can't say what his schedule is, but we only had 2 weeks in between meetings, and Sarah was reaching out to him immediately when that request on
people
our
are busy.
behalf. So I think it was just the tight scheduling between the meetings.
I'm sure
Okay.
he's willing. It's not a
All right.
volunteer position.
Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, so item 9.1, executive session. I move to go into executive session, not to reconvene in open session, to approve the school committee executive session meeting minutes of February 4, 2026, to discuss salary adjustments for non-affiliated personnel, and to discuss the terms and conditions on non-affiliated personnel contracts.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded, this is a roll call vote. Jen?
Yep.
Andre?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Sarah, Courtney?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The regular part of the meeting is adjourned.